Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We know what it takes to achieve a dream. Dedication, courage, determination, control, desire. And our goal is to channel that energy. To champion the nation's best aquatic athletes, support the teams who support them, inspire anyone and everyone to feel the benefits of a love of water, and propel each sport onwards and upwards, or even downwards, by doing it the right way, sustainably, with integrity, with purpose. Because the thrill of seeing Great Britain being great at aquatic sport is something everyone can get excited about. We are Aquatics GB.
Good morning and welcome back to the Ponds Forge International Sports Centre for another session here at the Speedo Aquatics GB Summer Championships. This is our schedule for this heat session. Women's 100 metre freestyle for age group swimmers. Multi-classification, women's and men's 200 metres freestyle. Women's 400 metres individual medley, men's 200 metres individual medley. They are age group swims there. Mixed classification, women's and men's 400 metres freestyle. Age groups, men's 50 metre freestyle, women's 50 metres backstroke, and multi-classification, women's 50 metre butterfly and men's 50 metres butterfly. It's a packed session this morning, and we begin with women's 100 metres freestyle. We will have 13 heats, and 3 swimmers are in heat 1. From left to right, Amy Fielding, Bella Jones and Anya Foxwell. So this is 2 lengths of the pool, and these swimmers all in the 13-14 age group. At the top of the picture, Anya Foxwell is swimming for Wigan Best. In the middle of the 3 is Bella Jones for Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson. And closest to us in the white cap, Amy Fielding swimming for Camden Swiss Cottage. And Anya Foxwell will turn first, just ahead of Bella Jones. And then Amy Fielding. None of these swimmers have swum under 60 seconds in this event in the long course pool, so I think that's our target here, and we're going to be right on that sort of mark for our leading swimmers here, Anya Foxwell and Bella Jones. So let's see if those two can get under 60 seconds as they get into the final 5 metres. It's going to be very close, just outside. 61.14 for Anya Foxwell, 61.26 for Bella Jones, 62.29 Amy Fielding. Good times, not quite personal best for everybody, but remember it is very early in the morning, so that has to be borne in mind for these 3 and for everybody else to come in these very, very early swims in the heats. On to heat 2. And we're using all 10 lanes in this heat. Our 10 swimmers here, reading from the top of the picture. Florence Barcoltz for Marlborough Penguins, Daisy Sian Palmer for Atlantis, Jessica Perkins, Herne Bay, Erica Middleton, City of Coventry, Maya Al Mohammed for Nova Centurion, Emma Bourgaise for Guernsey, Kate Roberts for City of Liverpool, Molly Irvin Watson for Dumfries, Alexandra Platt for Woking, and in the lane 0 at the bottom of the picture, Eleanor Porter. Maya El Mohammed first to the turn. We have 4 swimmers in the 15-year age group in this heat and 6 swimmers in the 13s, 14s. I'll remind you that we swim in these heats for places in the age group finals. So everybody swims in the heats against swimmers who are close to them in terms of personal best times and then tries to qualify for the final. Maya Al Mohammed will win this heat in 59.65, ahead of Emma Bourgaise in 1 minute 0.75. And then in third at the top of our picture, Florence Barcoltz. It's a personal best for Maya Al Mohammed. Almost a second quicker than she swam before. On we go to heat number 3. Our swimmers here are Ella Smith for Northumberland and Durham Performance, Zoe Rogers for Trafford Metro Borough, Ruby Sims for Stockport Metro, Autumn Claxton for City of Salford, Gwenllian Evans, City of Cardiff, Alexandra Nerney for Hatfield, Anaya Singh for Reading, Heidi Corbett for Guildford City, Lily Green for Plymouth Leander, and Carey Sullivan for City of Manchester Aquatics. Heidi Corbett swimming the fastest first 50 metres, 28.45. And in this heat, heat number 3, we don't have anybody who has swum under 60 seconds for 100 freestyle in the long course pool, so that would be a really good target for anybody, a really good barrier to break here. Heidi Corbett ahead of Zoe Rogers, who's in second place, 2 lanes from the top of the picture. And then in third here is Ella Smith. Heidi Corbett's under 60, 58.9. Zoe Rogers 59.64, so we know they are personal best. Ella Smith with a PB as well, 60.05. So Heidi Corbett there, not just breaking the 60 barrier, but also the 59 second barrier in 58.9 to win heat 3. On to heat 4. And our swimmers in heat 4 are Harriet Jones for Plymouth Leander, Rosalie Anderson for City of Cardiff, Kerris Griffiths for Pembrokeshire County, Liberty Jones, Taunton Dean, Elodie Piercy for Repton, Madison Wrens for City of Liverpool, Jasmine Hall for Basildon and Phoenix, Emma Sherrod for Torfin Dolphins, Gisela Silano for Guildford City, and Edith Price for Mount Kelly. And at the turn, first there was Liberty Jones in lane 6. Now we're coming now into the final 50 metres, and I would say for the 13s and 14s in here, probably the fastest 3 13s and 14-year-olds will get into their age group final. So I'll run you down those when we get to the end and try and keep you up to date. Going well now, Edith Price in lane 0 nearest to us, and in lane 6, Liberty Jones. And then in 4, looking like third place for Madison Wrens. First then, Edith Price, 59.77. And then second Madison Wrens. Third, Liberty Jones. Liberty Jones is our fastest 14-year-old swimmer in there. We'll have to wait and see if the 13s and 14s were quick enough for places in the finals. I think maybe 2 or 3 of them there were. Amelia Wright. Oh, so that's the next heat. I got my screen changed before I could give you all of the details. We have to move on quickly. Heat 5 next. Our swimmers here are Eva Higginbottom for Swindon Dolphin, Sophie Palmer for Basildon and Phoenix, Alice Volkovaya for City of Salford, Grace Robinson for St Felix School, Lily Mundell for Heart of Midlothian, Amelia Wright for Harrogate District, Eloise Cole for Bedford, Orla McInnes for Heart of Midlothian, Evie Cutter for Wigan Best, and Ellen Winstanley for City of Hereford. Amelia Wright in lane 4 in the yellow cap, turning second there is in the 13-14 age group. Eva Higginbottom, who was first at the turn, is in the 15-year age group. And I would say we've got 3 15-year-olds in this heat. 5 15-year-olds, sorry, and I reckon there are 3 places here in the final for the fastest 3 15-year-old swimmers. Lily Mundell in lane 5 coming through here. Very strong final 50 and a good final 50 for Sophie Palmer up in lane 8. They are 1 and 2. Lily Mundell 59.61. That will get her into the 13-14 age group final for sure. Sophie Palmer in second place, our fastest 15-year-old in there, and that will be worth a place in the 15-year final. Eva Higginbottom there in third place. Also, I would expect into the 15s final with 59.88. On to heat 6. Swimmers just being asked to stand down by the starter. We're going to reset the starts. Here we go. Our swimmers here in lane 9 in the yellow cap at the top of the pool. Iris Hurst for Warrington Warriors. Then it's Eve Wood for Orkney. Olivia Minetz for City of Peterborough. Olivia McCall for Repton. Ellie Fries for Sutton and Cheam, Olivia O'Mahony for Cockermouth, Georgia Holgate for City of Cambridge, Christina Schultz for Mount Kelly, Annabelle Crease for Repton, and Ava Wilson for Mount Kelly. Lane 5, Ellie Fries in 28.41 at the turn. Second at the turn, at the bottom of our picture there, Ava Wilson for Mount Kelly, and those two both swimming in the 16-year age group. 3 lanes from the bottom, Christina Schultz is in third. And at the top of the picture going well, Iris Hurst for Warrington Warriors. Looking to get under 60 seconds, of course, here. That's the standard right now. And we have 3 swimmers doing just that. Christina Schultz, Ava Wilson, and Ellie Fries. In fourth place there was Olivia O'Mahony. Olivia Minute was 5th. And have a look at this in 6th and 7th. Iris Hurst and Olivia McCall. They'll probably be into the 13-14 final with those times. 60.40 and 60.95. Heat 7 now. And our swimmers here are Alice Young for Guildford City, Ellen Duffield for Team Ipswich, Skydra Valmontaita for City of Brighton and Hove, Fenella Woodis for Repton, Caris Crook for Torfin Dolphins, Kiana Kurtzer for Warren de Bath, Sophia Gelev for Chelsea and Westminster, Eve Doherty for City of Sheffield, Izzy Blackhurst for Taunton Dean, and Jessica Gable for Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson. Sophia Gelev turning first in 28.11 ahead of Alice Young. And Gelev with that powerful looking stroke there, 4 lanes from the bottom, carrying her arms really well over the top of the water. High bent elbows coming through now. Kiana Kurtzer in lane 4 for Warrender in the red cap in the middle, and at the top of the picture as well, Alice Young going well, and in lane 2 Eve Doherty coming through very quickly as well. A joint first place in that heat. Sophia Gele 58.84, Eve Doherty the same time, Kiana Kurtzer with 58.92. And all 3 of those swimmers are in the 16-year age group. So 58.84. That is going to be pushing for a place in the 16 years final. On to heat number 8. Our swimmers here from the top of the picture: Elizabeth Warner for City of Leeds, Jessica Smelt for Repton, Isabel Farmer for Borough of Kirklees, Lily Grover, the Royal Wolverhampton School, Ella McDermott for City of Leeds, Amber Rigg for Cockermouth, Isabel Price, City of Birmingham, Zara Combe for Satellite of Macclesfield, Phoebe Arbuckle for Warren de Baths, and Mia McLeod for Swim West Lothian. 4 swimmers clearly ahead of the rest at the turn. That's Jessica Smelt, Phoebe Arbuckle, Lily Grover, and Isabel Farmer. Elizabeth Warren at the top of the screen is in the 13-14s category, so trying to get into the 13s-14s final. Isabel Price in lane 3, 4 from the bottom, trying to get in the 15 years final. Out in front though, Jessica Smelt to win this heat for Repton, and it's going to be a very fast time for Jessica, 57.7, ahead of Lily Grover with 58.44 and Phoebe Arbuckle with 58.86. 4th place there was Ella McDermott, and then in 5th Isabel Price, 59.33. That should get her into the final for 15-year-old swimmers. That's Isabel Price, and Elizabeth Warner 101.38. That's borderline for the 13-14s final. Heat 9 next. Now swimmers in Heat 9. Evie Mackey, what a start, top of the picture. Underwater right up to 15 metres. In lane 8, Emily Maxwell, Northumberland and Durham Performance. Then it's Aston Maddox for Millfield, Ashley Drake for Warren de Baths, Anna Tyers for Derby Excel, Bethan Cook for City of Birmingham, Sophie Ben for Mount Kelly, Lydia Cordell for Repton, Willow Harrison, City of Sheffield, and Maria Mishenko for University of Aberdeen Performance. Sophie Ben in 27.46, the fastest to turn at 50 metres. Evie Mackey at the top of the screen there is in the 15-year category, and around 59 seconds for Evie would be a place in the 15 years final. And Willow Harrison, a similar story, 2 lanes from the bottom, trying to get around that 59-second mark. But winning this heat is going to be Sophie Ben, ahead of Maria Mishenko, and then Anna Tyers. Anna Tyers, 58.86 in 3rd place there. 58.86 is just 2/100th slower than the 16-year-old swimmers we had in Heat 7 with the joints first place. So Anna Tyers will have to wait and see if that's worth a place in the 16 years final. Heat 10 now. And our swimmers are Sienna Franklin Miller for Millfield, Layla Weatherspoon for Hearts of Midlothian, Honor Fox for City of Cardiff, Hannah Murphy for Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson, Elizabeth Land for Newcastle, Amy Hempenstall for Guildford City, Hannah Hodgkiss for Repton, Tegan Gale for Woking, Annabelle Quinn, City of Milton Keynes, and Hallie Harris for Poole. Lane 9, Sienna Franklin Miller, 28.09. First to the turn by 0.4 of a second, but coming through now, Hallie Harris at the bottom of the screen as well. And we've got swimmers in this race in the 16s, the 15s and the 17s. I'm trying to give you an idea of who qualifies. By and large, if you get under 59 seconds, I think you'll probably qualify for your age group final. So 58.99 for Amy Hempenstall. I think there'll be no doubt about it. She'll be in the 16 years final with that time. Second, Hannah Hodgkiss. Third, there was Hannah Murphy in the 17 age group. That's going to be hovering around qualifying for the 17s final. Elizabeth Land there will be in the 15s final with that time 59.16. Heat 11 now, and this is the first of our seeded heats. Our swimmers here are Emily Mears-Bentley for City of Leicester, Scarlett Orchard for Loughborough University, Sophie Davis for Millfield, Darcy Revitt for Guildford City, Isabella O'Caro for Repton, Kate Clifton, City of Sheffield, Theodora Taylor for Torfin Dolphins, Nellie Kinch for University of Stirling, Megan Higgs for Millfield, and Grace Greenhalgh for City of Norwich. Seeded heats means that the fastest swimmers in this heat are among the fastest ranked in the entire event. We've got swimmers in this heat in the 15-year category, the 16-year category, and the 17-year category, as well as the 18s and over. Torfin Dolphins' Theodora Taylor is in the 15-year age group. She's swinging her way into the 15-year final for sure. Darcy Revitt, Guildford City, will be qualifying for the 18s and over in second place here. And in fourth, Kate Clifton should get into the 18s and over with 56.47, I would have thought. Theodora Taylor's 55.75, fastest we've seen so far. In fifth there, Megan Higgs, 57.88, will get into the 16-year final. Sophie Davis in the 17s final with 57.96 in sixth place. On to heat 12. And the swimmers in Heat 12, Alexandra Boulat for City of Lincoln Pentaqua. Lane 8, Catherine Renfrew for Perth City. Lane 7, Beth Hall for Mount Kelly. Lane 6, Amy Monks, that lane empty. Lane 5, Rebecca Sutter for Swansea University. Lane 4, Phoebe Cooper for City of Sheffield. Lane 3, Libby Broder, City of Cardiff. Lane 2, Shola Robinson, City of Sheffield. Lane 1, Hannah Woodcock, Swansea University. And Lane 0, Jessica Hum for Rushmore Royals. Shola Robinson turning in 27.49, just ahead of Libby Broder. This is a good swim from Robinson. And also going well in lane 3, Libby Broder then. 3 lanes from the top of the picture, Beth Hall for Mount Kelly. Also swimming quickly, but it's Cooper and Sutton going for the wall, along with Broder, who actually got there first in 57.17. Very strong final 5 metres for Libby Broder. That will get her into the 18s and over final. Probably Shola Robinson 57.18 and Rebecca Sutton 57.18. Well, yeah, I think they'll probably both qualify for the 18s and over final, but we'll have to wait and see. Catherine Renfrew in that last one was in the 17-year age group. And we go to our last heat, heat 13. And we have swimmers in this heat trying to get into the finals in 4 different age groups. As a rule of thumb, I think if you get under 58 seconds, then you'll be in your age group final. That's the first thing to say. And our swimmers are Zara Kraviec for East Lothian, Hannah Capron for Repton, Molly Baker City of Sheffield, Sophie de Groot for Loughborough University, Sky Carter for Basildon and Phoenix, Holly Widows for Mount Kelly, Annabelle Compton for Wickham District. Then we have the empty lane, lane 2. Lane 1 is Emma Croker for Loughborough University, and lane 0, Emma Wood, City of Leeds. Sophie de Groot is our leader, and she'll be swimming her way into the 18s and over final. Holly Widows as well in second place right now. Sky Carter will be third here, but she'll be in the 17s final with this time. 56.23, 56.33, 56.56, our first, second and third times. I think swimmers there under 58 seconds can be pretty sure they will be in their age group finals. So Sophie de Groot, Holly Widows, they're in the 18s and over. Sky Carter in the 17s final there. Hannah Capron, 57.08, will be in the 15s final. Molly Baker in the 17s final with 57.66. Also qualifying Zara Kraviec for the 15s final with her time there. And that completes our women's 100 metres freestyle age group heats. Next we have women's mixed classifications, 200 metres freestyle. Only one heat to be swum here. Our swimmers all in the S14 category. Our swimmers in this heat from the top of the picture: Poppy Maskill for Alsager, Olivia Newman-Baronius for Maxwell, Louise Fiddis of Hatfield, Jessica Jane Applegate, the Paralympic champion at London 2012, in lane 5, Georgia Sheffield in 4 for Bolton Metro, Grace Robinson City of Manchester Aquatics in 3, Megan Neve in 2, lane 1 is the empty lane, and Saskia Webb in 0. And you can see here that the pattern forming, the way the mixed classification heats work, the fastest swimmer is placed on the furthest side of the pool in the heats, and then the swimmers with their ranking times progressively slower. So you get this diagonal pattern by and large in the mixed classification heats. So Poppy Maskill out in front, and she will turn first here in a time of 61.45. 4 lengths of the pool this event. Everybody who completes this heat without being disqualified, of course, will qualify for our final session tonight. Poppy Maskill, she's going to be heading to the Paralympics in Paris next month. So too Olivia Newman-Baronius in lane 7 and Louisa Fiddis in lane 6. Probably worth saying that Poppy Maskill, Olivia Newman-Baronius, they were away in Turkey at the training camp. Louise Fiddis wasn't on that training camp, in second place at the moment, preparing in another way. So everybody getting ready in the way that best suits their performances for the Paralympics next month. But there were 19 swimmers away in Turkey until 4 days ago when they got back to the UK. Poppy Maskill is going to swim home first here, and we get a points total. Anything over 800 is world class. That's 899 points for Poppy Maskill. And look at that as well. Louise Fiddis, 813 points. Olivia Newman-Baronius, 803. Jessica Jane Applegate, 790. 775 there for Georgia Sheffield. So points above 800, world class. So we saw top swimmers in that women's 200 metres freestyle there. If you get over 800 points, that's considered to be sort of top 10 in the world. So we've got 3 swimmers there who would be around that level. Great swims, and with the result confirmed, 8 swimmers all qualified for tonight's final. We'll see them all again later on. Men's mixed classification 200 metres freestyle now. 4 swimmers, Harvey Phillips, Jack Milne, William Newton and Nathan McManus, swimming across 2 categories, S4 and S14. So Nathan McManus in lane 6, William Newton in 5, Jack Milne in 4, Harvey Phillips in 3. And you'll see we'll have 2 races in many ways here, because the S14 swimmers can swim 200 metres freestyle around 2 minutes and 5, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And Harvey Phillips, he will swim this in around 3.5 minutes. But it depends on the points for the classifications to determine where we finish in these heats. Let's concentrate first of all then on the performances in lanes 4, 5 and 6. William Newton and in first place there, then Jack Milne and Nathan McManus. And we'll come back to follow Harvey Phillips later on, because he can still win this race. He could still score more points than these leading 3 against the clock. And we will see how that's possible later on in this heat. So S14 category swimmers here, these 3 in lanes 4, 5 and 6. And it will be William Newton first for City of Coventry at the turn, Jack Milne then for University of Aberdeen Performance, and in lane 6 Nathan McManus for Plymouth Leander. 1:03 at the turn for those 3 swimmers, so on course for their personal best times of around 2:10. They won't be far outside that. And you see Harvey Phillips there swimming in the opposite direction, and he will finish about 1 minute 20 seconds behind these 3, but he could still win if his point score is higher than the first of these S14 swimmers. William Newton looking good here, turning in 1:36.88 and looking like he's really into his rhythm. A higher stroke rate there for William Newton, a 16-year-old swimmer there in lane 5. Nathan McManus for Plymouth Leander at the top of the screen of those 3. He's 17, and Jack Milne nearer to us, 23. William Newton 2:09.3, and you see that's worth 656 points, and it's a personal best, knocking more than 2 seconds off his previous best time. So we've got our first 3 swimmers home, and they've scored a maximum of 656 points. And now Harvey Phillips here is in the S4 category, and Harvey has got a personal best in this event of 3 minutes 33 seconds. So that's the sort of time we're looking for Harvey, and if his time is worth more points than the rest, then he will be considered to have won the heat. So the way it works, as I have mentioned before, but if you haven't joined us before this week, the world record time for each classification is set every 2 years, and that becomes worth 1,000 points. And then your performance measured against that world record is given a point score. It's a percentage of the fastest time in the world, and it's possible to score over 1,000 points to be faster than that previous world record. Anything above 800 points is therefore considered world class. Well, 750 for most events. Harvey Phillips coming in to finish then. It's going to be outside his personal best time, that was 3:33, but look, it's not too far behind, and look how many points is he going to score. Will it be over 656? No, 4:22 for Harvey Phillips. 3 minutes 39.74. all 4 of those swimmers will be back to swim in the final tonight. They'll have another chance to compete in that 200 metres freestyle. And there you see William Newton, 656 points, Jack Mills, 611, Nathan McManus, 585, Harvey Phillips, 422. Oh, I said we had 1 heat, excuse me, we've got 2 heats. And in this heat, S14 swimmers right across the pool. I'll introduce the swimmers when we get going. The points totals will only matter in terms of qualifying then for the final. Our swimmers here, William Ellard in lane 9 for St Felix School, Dylan Broom for Torfin Dolphins, Cameron Viencombe for Bridgewater Amateur, Louis Lawler for City of Glasgow, Rhys Darby for Nofio Clwyd, Jason Van der Meer for Newman University of East London, Rio Rogers for Basildon and Phoenix, Mark Thompson for Bolton Metro, Jude Gunner for St Felix School and Owen Garsides for Kingston upon Hull. Will Ellard out in front here. He was away at the Turkey training camp and looking very good here. So all of these swimmers S14 category, which means really it's a race against the clock for them all. And you'll see the strength in depth in the S14 category with so many swimmers competing here. Will Ellard with that long stroke, almost the 2 hands catching up on each stroke. Certainly the left hand almost catching the right hand on each stroke. In second at the turn then was Dylan Broom and then Cameron Viencombe. 4 swimmers under 60 seconds for the first 100 metres. And Will Ellard looking like he's got this under complete control. So Ellard will be going to the Paralympics. Also in the Paralympics team in lane 7, in third at the moment, Cameron Viencombe. Louis Lawler swimming in lane 6. Rhys Darby in lane 5. Mark Thompson's also in the Paralympics team in lane 2, 3 from the bottom. The first 4 in this heat, you can see, will clearly be going to the final. 800 and above considered world class. We're not far off that in the heats already there. And I think we've got 9 of our 10 finalists coming from this heat with those times, those scores. 6.73 was our 9th best score. So I think we'll have 9 of those swimmers through to the final. And then our fastest swimmer from heat 1. Actually, we've got a disqualification there for Rhys Darby. So we'll have 2 swimmers from heat 1 qualifying for the final tonight. So the first 8 there and 2 from heat 1. Well swum everyone there. Our next event is the age group competition for women's 400 metres individual medley. Nine swimmers in heat 1. And our 9 swimmers are Lily Green for Plymouth Leander, Charlotte Burfitts for Maidenhead, Ellie Hull, City of Birmingham, Lily Stansfield, Harrogate District, Hannah Sterry for Tigers of Jersey, Lane 3, Scarlett Capaldi for Stokesley, Lane 2, Eve Hibbert, City of Sheffield, Darcy Arnold for Woking and Amy Jones of Leatherhead. Lily Green swimming first to the 50-metre turn. This is 2 lengths of each stroke. 100 metres butterfly, then 100 backstroke, 100 breaststroke, 100 freestyle. That's the order for the individual medley. Fly back breast front crawl, fly back breast freestyle. And the swimmers, they have their own individual strengths. You get swimmers who are strong on the butterfly leg, and then we see other swimmers on backstroke or breaststroke swimming right into contention. So all 9 of these swimmers right in the race, even though everything is really looking very spread out after 100 metres. And Lily Stansfield will turn first in lane 5. 109.02, just ahead of Lily Green. So on to backstroke next. And Lily Stansfield in the middle of the pool in first place. At the bottom of your screen there, Amy Jones now coming up into third place, looking like she's a strong backstroker for Leatherhead. And also going well there, Darcy Arnold in lane 1 for Woking. That's 2 lanes from the bottom of the screen. Lane 6 now, Ellie Hull for City of Birmingham, also looking good. Now watch the turns. There are 2 different types of turn. From backstroke to backstroke, you can turn onto your stomach, and you're allowed to do 1 pull with the arm and then turn with a tumble turn. You don't have to touch the wall with your hand at the turn when it's backstroke to backstroke, but when you change stroke, so that's backstroke to breaststroke, our next turn, you must touch the wall with your hand while you're still on your back before you do the turn. And then we see different types of turn from backstroke to breaststroke. The swimmers will have figured out what works best for them. So you'll see that when we get to the turn here, different types of turn, but the one thing that is consistent is everybody must touch the wall with their hand while they're still on their back first, and then they go onto their front for breaststroke. And sometimes it looks like the swimmers are almost turning onto their front when they do their turn before their hand touches the wall, but actually, as long as the swimmer is more on the back than on the front, so they haven't passed the 90-degree point, then that is a legal turn. You must be still more on your back than anything else when your hand touches the wall. Once your hand touches the wall, then anything goes really, and that's the backstroke to breaststroke turn. So we'll see over the course of the 13 heats the different types of turn that happen there. And then, well, we might as well discuss the breaststroke to breaststroke turn. At the end of length of breaststroke, you must touch the wall with both hands simultaneously, and that's what you see there. Both hands touch the wall, and once both hands have touched the wall, then you can let go with one hand. The key thing is both hands must touch the wall simultaneously at the turn, and the same goes for breaststroke to front crawl turn coming up next. And we have the same rule really for butterfly. 2 hands must simultaneously touch the wall, whether you're turning at the end of the length or from butterfly to backstroke. Lane 5 then, Lily Stansfield is our leader. In lane 4, Hannah Sterry in the yellow cap in second place right now. And Lily Green, Plymouth Leander in lane 8 is in third as we go to freestyle. And it's Stansfield ahead of Sterry and then Green. The swimmers in this heat are capable of swimming around 5 minutes 20 as a personal best, maybe just a shade under that. So they're the sort of times we're looking for. Anything under 5:20 is a really good performance. If we get under 5:18, well, I think we've turned in a really, really good swim for anyone in this heat. So we'll keep an eye on the clock as we get to the end of the 400 metres individual medley. 1 more length to swim. Stansfield, then Sterry. And Sterry is closing all the time here on Stansfield. Sterry could win this heat. Sterry is swimming in the 15-year age group, and Stansfield in the 13-14-year age group. So they're actually competing for places in 2 different finals as they come into the last 15 metres. And it looks like Lily Stansfield is going to hold off the challenge from Sterry. I said 5:20 would be a very good time for any swimmer in this heat. Well, we're going to go much faster than that for these two. 5:16.98, well done Lily Stansfield. 5:17.58, very good from Hannah Sterry. A couple of personal bests there, which is great to see. The swimmers will be exhausted after that. An exhausting swim, 400 metres individual medley. And 5:16.98 our winning time in that heat, 5:17.58 in second place. Anything under 5:20, I think, very good performance. So well done there, Lily Stansfield and Hannah Sterry. On to heat 2, and we're using all 10 lanes now for the rest of the heats. Our swimmers in heat 2 then are Kayla Wimble for Guildford City, Alice Harper, City of Glasgow, Abigail Crawford, City of Glasgow. In lane 6, it's Isabella Tenasselas for Camden Swiss Cottage. In lane 5, Amy Fielding for Camden Swiss Cottage. Lane 4, Megan Roberts for Wrexham. Lane 3, Izzy Blackhurst, Taunton Dean. Lane 2, Charlotte Hayden, Wickham District. Lane 1, Rose O'Brien for Fareham Nomads. And at the bottom of our picture there, Lydia Shipley is swimming for Middlesbrough. Out in front at the turn, Kayla Wimble. Kayla is in the 15-year age group. And in lane 4, in the middle of the pool, Megan Roberts swimming for a place in the 17-year final. 3 lanes from the bottom, Charlotte Hayden in the green cap is in the 15-year age group. And she is in 3rd place right now, looking like she's moving up now into 2nd. The second 50 of this butterfly leg from Charlotte Hayden, looking very good. And it's between Hayden and Wimble to get to the turn first. Hayden getting there. So Hayden with a faster second 50 there than the first, I would say. And then we go on to backstroke. And Rose O'Brien, Fareham Nomads, 2 lanes from the bottom, has a very smooth and effective stroke here. She's in 3rd place at the moment. In lane 6, Isabella Tenasselas is in 4th for Camden Swiss Cottage. And it will be Charlotte Hayden to turn first. Onto the front, tumble turn. You don't have to touch the wall when it's backstroke to backstroke with your hand. You only have to touch with your feet and get the push off the wall. And we're into the final 35 metres, and now 25 metres of backstroke. And the swimmers at the next turn will be turning to breaststroke. So we'll see the variety of different turning styles here. And when we get to breaststroke, well, there are swimmers in this field who will have breaststroke as a real strength, and they might well come through into contention. Charlotte Hayden turning first ahead of Rose O'Brien, then Isabella Tenasselas, Amy Fielding, Kayla Wimble, Izzy Blackhurst, Lydia Shipley was 7th at the turn. And in lane 5, Amy Fielding, Camden Swiss Cottage, looks like she's going very well on this breaststroke. Up to 4th at the moment. So that's in the middle of the pool. Also, Isabella Tenasselas in lane 6, trying to stay with Amy Fielding at this stage in the race. So they are 4th and 5th in this heat. Charlotte Hayden will be first to the turn. And Hayden, well, she swam fast on the second leg of the second length of butterfly. She might well do the same thing here in the green cap, 3 lanes from the bottom of the picture. Rose O'Brien in the red cap, 2 lanes from the bottom, is actually the one who's surging through now, looking very strong. Fareham Nomad swimmer Rose O'Brien going well, but Kayla Wimble at the far side of the pool has done even better on this second length of breaststroke, and she's gone away from the rest here. Kayla Wimble will be our first swimmer to turn into freestyle. And then Hayden and O'Brien will be reaching up for the touch here at the turn. O'Brien just ahead. So into freestyle we go. Now for swimmers in this heat, We're going to try to get under 5 minutes 17, I would say. That's the mark of a really good swim for these 10 swimmers. 5 minutes 17 or better. Wimble out in front, then O'Brien in second, Hayden in third. Amy Fielding in lane 5 is finishing very strongly on freestyle, and she's up into second or third place almost here. Wimble turning first, then it's O'Brien, Hayden, Fielding in 5. Tanasalas in 5th place at the turn. And Kayla Wimble is going to win this heat on the far side of the pool. And we're looking for a time under 5:17. I think anyone under 5:17 has had a really good swim. Kayla Wimble is certainly going to swim quicker than that. Look at the clock then. 5:17 or better would be very good for swimmers in this heat. 5:13.8 for Kayla Wimble. 5:15 and 5:15 for second and third places O'Brien and Hayden. And 5:16 for Amy Fielding. So 4 swimmers going quicker than 5:17 there. And they are 4 personal bests for our first 4 swimmers in that heat. Kayla Wimble's 5:13.8, the fastest swimmer in a 15-year category so far. Rose O'Brien's in the 13-14 category, and that is going to be almost certainly quick enough for the 13-14 final there for Rose O'Brien. We've got more than 10 swimmers still to come in that category, but I think that will be quick enough. On to heat 3. Our swimmers in heat 3 with only 9 lanes in use. Lane 9 empty here. In lane 8, Lily Davis, City of Peterborough. Lane 7, Molly Norton, City of Leeds. Lane 6, Martha Sumnall, City of Liverpool. Lane 5, Tia Aitken for University of Aberdeen Performance. Lane 4, Mai Yuasa, City of Leeds. Lane 3 is Janie Finch for City of Leicester. Lane 2, Victoria Bunimovic for Chelsea and Westminster. In lane 1, it's Aurelia Vavnevjevic for Nova Centurion. And in lane 0, Rosie Forster for Warren de Baths. Lily Davis was first to the turn there in 31.42. And 4 lanes from the bottom of our picture, Janie Finch, City of Leicester, in the 13-14 category, is in second place right now. 4 lanes from the top of the picture, 3 field lanes if you like. In lane 6 is Martha Sumnall for City of Liverpool, also in the 13-14 age group. So they touch with 2 hands simultaneously, and then 1 hand leaves the wall as they turn onto their back. And then once they push off the wall, the swimmers onto backstroke. Once their feet leave the wall, they must be on their backs at that point. And that's what the judges are watching for. You see the turn judges when they come and watch every swimmer at the turns. Those are the things they're looking for. And our judge is very, very experienced. Look at the turn judges there. You see they get their eyes above the wall, watch, they make sure the swimmers, first and foremost, that they do touch the wall at every turn, and then that they don't go too far underwater. You must break the surface with your head before 15 metres. Okay, the swimmers in this event aren't swimming that far underwater, but they are watching for all of those factors at those turns. That's what the turn judges are doing there, making sure that everything is correct and making sure that our races are absolutely fair for every swimmer. Backstroke to breaststroke turn now, so you must touch the wall with your hand first, then you turn, and you've got to be on your front when you go to breaststroke. So 2 flip turns there, both swimmers there, Janie Finch and Lily Davis, touching with their hand, then doing a backwards somersault before pushing off on their fronts into breaststroke. 2 lanes from the top of the pool. Lily Davis, City of Peterborough, is our leader. And then 4 lanes from the bottom, Janie Finch, City of Leicester. In third at the moment, Rosie Forster for Warren de Baths. I would say lane 4 is currently in 5th place. That's Maya Yuasa. And probably next in lane 6, Martha Sumnall. 3 lanes to go. 1 more length of breaststroke after this turn, with Davis out in front, then Finch. Third to the turn, Yuasa, then Forster and Sumnall. Maya Yuasa in 3rd place and Janie Finch in 2nd are both in the 13-14 age group. As we come now towards the final change of stroke from breaststroke into freestyle, and looking very good now, Lily Davis. As we swim into the wall now, turning from breast to front crawl, touch with 2 hands simultaneously, then you let 1 hand leave the wall. For a lot of swimmers it's then 1 hand over the top of the water, and then into freestyle for the final 2 lengths of the pool. Lily Davis leading. In 2nd place then in lane 3, Janie Finch. Now Janie Finch here is trying to qualify for the 13s and 14s final, and if we go 5 minutes 17 or quicker for Janie Finch, then I think that will qualify for the final. So she is swimming in lane 3. So Janie Finch trying to go probably 5 minutes 17 or better for a place in the 13s, 14s final. And for Lily Davis, well, her personal best is 5:16.59. We're looking to go quicker than 5:16 for our leader here, Lily Davis. And that would be a really great swim in these heats. 5:16, well, she's going to go much, much, much quicker than that. What a brilliant swim, a huge personal best. Well done, Lily Davis, 5:07.22. Janie Finch will be in the 13-14 final with that time, 5:11. Maya Yuasa in 3rd, also in the 13-14 age group. And, well, it's wait and see for Maya Yuasa with 5:13.44, but I think that might be worth a place in the final as well. Janie Finch's time, 5:11.71, that's a big personal best. Maya Yuasa, that's a PB, 5:13.44 in 3rd place. Really good swims for our first 3. Rosie Forster, 5:15.75. Finishing in 4th place there. Personal best for our first 3 swimmers. And we move on now to heat number 4. Well, I'm sure you realise there we had the start reset. No problems for any of the swimmers. We just, with that noise, just had to get everything reset. So off we go then with heat number 4. And on the far side of the pool is Megan Cumner for Mount Kelly. In lane 8, Rosie Grosvenor for City of Birmingham. Lane 7 is Lily Rose Carr, Nova Centurion. Lane 6, Lily Freeman for Northampton. Lane 5 is Iris Hurst for Warrington Warriors. Lane 4, Millie Wells, Leicester Sharks. Lane 3, Amelie Spicer, City of Bristol. Lane 2, Clara Guinness for the Tigers of Jersey. Lane 1, Charlotte Thompson, Midlothian. And lane 0 is Bonnie Mooney, City of Birmingham. In lane 4, Millie Wells, Leicester Sharks, leading just ahead of Lily Freeman in 6. Those 2 swimmers in the 17-year age group. And in 3rd at the moment, Lily Rose Carr in the 15-year age group. We go from butterfly to backstroke. And first at the turn, Millie Wells. But a really good turn in lane 6 for Lily Freeman to come up level. And those two swimmers out in front. Also a good turn, 3 lanes from the bottom from Clara Guinness in the yellow cap. Up into third now and closing the gap between herself and our leading two. The way Clara Guinness is going, I don't think she's going to be far behind at the halfway turn in the backstroke leg here. So the swimmers turn onto their front. Once you're on your stomach, you are only allowed to make movements that are part of the turn. So onto the front, you start pulling, and you can only do a movement that's part of the turn. You can't start swimming freestyle into the wall. Everything else has got, every movement you make has got to help you execute the turn. Out in front then, Millie Wells in lane 4, and then in second place right now, Clara Guinness, and third, Lily Freeman. All 3 of these swimmers are in the 17-year age group. And a really good swim maybe in the 17 years might be qualifying for the final. I think to get in the final for 17 years age group, we need to be around 5 minutes and 9 seconds. So I think the first of these 3, depending on their time, might have a chance of getting into the final for their age group. Lane 7, Lily Rose Carr. She's in 4th place at the moment, but she'll be aiming for a place in the 15 years final. 15 years final, similar thing. I think we maybe 5:09 to get into that final. So we'll see. We will see. 5:10 would be a really good time for any of these swimmers, and we will then see if it's quick enough. Lane 6, Lily Freeman now out in the lead ahead of Millie Wells, and in third, Clara Guinness. We've got about 20 metres to go on this breaststroke, and then we turn into freestyle. Long strokes, long gliding strokes, huge kick, and hold on to that for all 3 of our leading swimmers as we come to the turn. It's going to be Freeman first to the turn into freestyle, then Wells, then Guinness, and then it will be Lily Rose Carr in 7. And we've got 100 metres to go. Under 5:09, I think, could be challenging for a place in a final. So we'll be keeping an eye on the clock here for all of these swimmers. Brilliant freestyle here now from Lily Freeman. Over she goes then, and we've got 50 metres left. 4:32.08. Well, if we get under 5:09, I think we might be looking at a potential place in the final. So this is a really good swim here for Lily Freeman. Keep an eye on the clock then. I think we've got to get under 5:09. That's the real target. 15 metres to go. Lily Freeman in lane 6. She's going to set a good time here, a really good time. 5:063. Well, that may well be final territory. Millie Wells in second, Clara Guinness in third, 4th Bonnie Mooney, and 5th Lily Rose Carr. 2 swimmers in the 15-year age group there in 4th and 5th. Well, Lily Freeman's done really well there for Northampton in lane 6. There are lots of 17-year-old swimmers to come in the heats yet, but she's put herself in contention there for a place in the 17 years final. 5:06.3. On to heat 5. Our swimmers in Heat 5 are Chloe Grosvenor for City of Birmingham, Maurice McNee for City of Birmingham, Zara Fitzpatrick, Bristol Penguin Olympic in the red cap. Then in the black cap in lane 6, Philippa Hickman, Nova Centurion. Into the golden lanes in the middle of the pool, Isabella Hoare for Worcester, Charlotte Surrell for City of Birmingham, Sadie Hunter, City of Peterborough. Then it's Amber Hinton for Dumfries, Sophie King for Swindon Dolphin, and Zara Kraviec for East Lothian. Sadie Hunter turning first there for City of Peterborough in 31.47, ahead of Zara Fitzpatrick and then Zara Kraviec. And Zara Kraviec at the bottom of our picture, looks like she's now moved up into second place maybe. At the top of the picture in lane 9, Chloe Grosvenor going well for City of Birmingham. Two swimmers in this heat in the 13s, 14s age group, Chloe Grosvenor and Amber Hinton. And they will want to be swimming around 5:12 to guarantee a place in their age group final. Our leader going into backstroke is Sadie Hunter. And Sadie going very well now on backstroke. Sadie swimming in the 16-year age group. Then in second place, 3 lanes from the top for Bristol Penguin Olympic, it's Zara Fitzpatrick. Turning now then in first place in this heat, Sadie Hunter, 1:46.24, and she is swimming away from the rest on this backstroke leg of the 400 metres individual medley. Looking very good here, Sadie Hunter. At the next turn we go from backstroke into breaststroke. So in second right now, Zara Fitzpatrick. Third place in lane 0, nearest to us at the turn will be Zara Kraviec. Backstroke to breaststroke, then we turn. The swimmers allowed 1 butterfly kick, 1 breaststroke pull, 1 breaststroke kick, and then their heads must break the surface just as they start their second breaststroke pull. And keep an eye in 5th place in lane 9, Chloe Grosvenor, City of Birmingham. That's the top lane as we look. She is in 5th place at the moment, maybe 4th, swimming for a place in the 13s, 14s final. There are 2 13-14 swimmers in this heat. Also 3 lanes from the bottom of the picture, Amber Hinton. So we'll keep an eye on their times as well. Sadie Hunter's lead being cut back now by Zara Kraviec, who's swimming well on this breaststroke leg. So Kraviec now coming up into first place and overtaking Sadie Hunter. Kraviec is in the 15-year age group, and also going well on this breaststroke leg, Charlotte Surrell in lane 4. Looks like she might well get up into second place before the turn, and Chloe Grosvenor on the far side looking on course for a place in her age group final with this swim, as we now turn into the last 100 metres onto freestyle. And it's Zara Kraviec turning first, 3:57.96 at that turn. In the 15-year age group, Kraviec, she's got a personal best of 5:02.82, Zara Kraviec. If she swims anything like that, we'll be looking at a place in the 15 years final. I don't think it will be as quick as that, but it will be a few seconds outside. Surrell turning in second place there for City of Birmingham. And then Sadie Hunter in third. So Zara Kraviec into the last 15 metres we go in this 400 metres individual medley. And what will the time be? It's going to be very quick. 5:06.91. Charlotte Surrell second in that heat with 5:10.04. And third, Sadie Hunter with 5:11.00. That's a personal best for Sadie Hunter. Looking further down there at Chloe Grosvenor in fourth place with a time of 5:13.89. That will see her into the final for the 13-14 age group. That's in fourth place there, Chloe Grosvenor. 13-14 swimmer there qualifying for the final later on. On to heat 6 now. Our swimmers here are Amelia Fenner for Basildon and Phoenix, Evie O'Halloran-Hutchinson for Northumberland and Durham Performance, Evie Cutter for Wigan Best, Isabel Hanley, City of Leeds, Abby Mitchell, City of Leicester, Tegan Black, East Lothian. Lane 3 is Sophia Gledhill for City of Bradford. Lane 2, Gisela Solano, Guildford City. Lane 1, Lucy Fielding for Camden Swiss Cottage. And lane 0 is Rebecca Coogan for Romford Town. It was Coogan who turned first there in 31.55. Followed at the turn by Amelia Fenner. In this heat, we've got two swimmers in the 13-14 age group. Amelia Fenner in lane 9, furthest from us. And in lane 2, that's 3 from the bottom, Gisela Solano. So they are 13-14 swimmers. And we're also swimming here, I think, for a place in the 17 years final. We've got 3 17-year-old swimmers in lane 3, Sophia Gledhill, 4 Tegan Black, and in 8, Evie O'Halloran-Hutchinson. And I would think that the first 2 of those 17-year-olds will be around top 10 times to get into their final for that age group. Leading here in lane 3, Sophia Gledhill, City of Bradford. And it will be Gledhill first to the wall, I should think, although very strong here, Rebecca Coogan on this breaststroke leg, turning, actually getting to the wall just ahead. Coogan obviously very strong on this backstroke leg. And the way she swam that first 50, I think Coogan will be first to turn into breaststroke. Amelia Fenner on the far side of the pool in the orange cap is in the 13-14 age group, and I would expect her, the way she's going then, to get into the final for her age group. So keep half an eye there. But on the near side then, first to the turn, will it be Rebecca Coogan or has Sophia Gledhill actually fought back? It will be Coogan. Backstroke to breaststroke then, only 0.2 of a second between them at the turn. Coogan, then Gledhill, and then in third at that turn, Lucy Fielding. So, who's got the strongest breaststroke in there? Haven't seen anybody yet quite emerge in this heat, but things are closing up. Lucy Fielding, 2 lanes from the bottom. Looks like she may be getting closer to the 3 ahead of her. And 2 lanes from the top here, Evie O'Halloran-Hutchinson probably going quicker than anybody else now on this breaststroke leg. 50 metres of breaststroke to go. O'Halloran-Hutchinson taking the lead, and watch the turn. O'Halloran-Hutchinson had a good turn, got a long distance, and brought a lot of momentum into her swimming when she got to the surface. Lane 0, Rebecca Coogan, going well. We're strung right across the pool here with our first 4 swimmers in lanes 9, 3, 1 and 0. Lane 7 coming up here, Evie Cutter as well for Wigan Best. It's going to be Evie O'Halloran-Hutchinson to turn first for Northumberland Durham Performance into freestyle. Evie O'Halloran Hutchinson then turning first into freestyle, 3:57.26 at that turn. And her personal best is 5:05. She's going to be close to that kind of level here. Evie O'Halloran Hutchinson. I think for her, 5:09 or better and you're going into the final for the 17s category. Still have plenty of swimmers to come, but I think that's what we're looking for, 5:09 or better. Gledhill, second to the turn, also in that 17 years category. Then third at the turn was Evie Cutter. Evie's in the 15-year age group. Fourth at that turn. I didn't quite catch, but fourth now is certainly Isabel Hanley. O'Halloran Hutchinson then, 5:09, I think puts her in the 17 years final. She's going to do that comfortably. Not quite a personal best, but I think we'll see Evie O'Halloran Hutchinson later on in the final. Sophia Gledhill in second place there, 5:11.27. Might just be outside the time for a top 10 place in the 17 years category. Looking further down, 7th place Amelia Fenner, 5:16.69 at the top of the pool. Well, that's also borderline for top 10 in the 13-14s age group, so she'll have to wait and see. So we're just waiting for confirmation. Evie O'Halloran Hutchinson with the winning time of 5:07.34. And we would expect that to be good enough for a place in the 17-year age group final. Sophia Gledhill, who finished second in that race, will have to wait and see. She might have been quick enough. Remember, we have already seen a 5:06 for a 17-year-old in these heats. Here's the confirmation of the results. We have a disqualification we're just hearing, and that was for Lucy Fielding in lane 1, Camden Swiss Cottage swimmer. It doesn't change our first three in that heat though. O'Halloran Hutchinson, Gledhill and Cutter. On we go to heat number 7. Our swimmers in Heat 7 are Martina Karabach for Chelsea and Westminster, Chloe Barnard for Basildon and Phoenix, Catherine Williams for Wickham District, Matilda Ashcroft, City of Leeds, in the yellow cap 4 from the top, going well here. In lane 5, Lexi O'Connor for Basildon and Phoenix. Lane 4 is Erin Taylor for Finns. Lane 3, Olivia Robbins, City of Birmingham. Lane 2, Gemma Dilks for Tiverton. Lane 1, Gabrielle Freeman, Northumberland and Durham Performance. And lane 0, second at the turn there, was Charlotte Johnson for Swansea University. Martina Karabach in lane 9 at the top of the picture. And Charlotte Johnson at the bottom of the screen, leading us. It's almost a reverse spearhead formation here. The way that the swimmers are arranged in the pool, we expect the swimmers in the middle of the pool to be the leaders when it comes to the end of the race anyway, and then it should taper to the outsides of the pool. But look, we've actually got the complete inverse there, with Johnson first, then Karabach, lane 0 and 9, and then lane 1 with Freeman third at the turn. Into backstroke we go, and it looks like Karabach has moved into first place and looking strong on this backstroke leg. We've got 3 swimmers in here, I think, who've got realistic chances of finals in their age groups. 4 lanes from the bottom of the picture, Olivia Robbins. She's a real medal chance in the 13-14 age group. In lane 5, Lexi O'Connor in the orange cap. Lane 5, she'll be looking for a place in the 17 years final. I think the standard for that is around 5:07 to be really guaranteed a place at the moment. And 3 lanes from the top, Catherine Williams, if she can get under 5:09, we'll be thinking that would be quick enough for a place in the 15 years final. Martina Karabach, this is a great 100 metres backstroke. She was pretty much joint first place at the last turn, and look at the gap she's opened up with this 100 metres backstroke. 37.26 was the time for her over the last 50 metres, and that's more than a second quicker than anybody else swam the last 50 metres of the pool. We get on our screen here the 50 metre split times every length of the pool, so we get a measure of who is swimming the quickest every time they turn, and that helps us measure who is coming through over the course of especially longer races like this that are 8 lengths to the pool. Martina Karabach still out in front then on the breaststroke leg here. Karabach will turn first. Chloe Barnard, Basildon and Phoenix in lane 8 going very well. She's going to turn in second place, I think. And then at the bottom of our picture, Gabrielle Freeman in third and Charlotte Johnson in fourth at the turn. And Johnson had a good turn. She's gone past Freeman to get up into third place. So the 2 outstanding breaststroke legs here in lane 0, Charlotte Johnson, and in lane 8 from Chloe Barnard. Barnard certainly closing in on Karabach. Those 2 swimmers the furthest away from us here. Karabach's lead after the backstroke leg has been eroded by Barnard. Very strong breaststroke swim this from Barnard. And in the middle, Lexi O'Connor coming through very well as well. That's the 2 Basildon and Phoenix swimmers in the orange caps. Barnard and O'Connor really doing brilliantly on the breaststroke leg. We go to freestyle now then. And Chloe Barnard has moved into first place ahead of Karabach. Barnard in the 15-year age group. And, well, I think there's a chance of a place in the 15-year final with this swim for Barnard. Barnard and Karabach turning side by side. 4:34 for those 2 swimmers at the turn. I think we really need to be going about 5:07 to get into the final for swimmers here to guarantee places. I don't think we're going to be quite as quick as that. Karabach is finishing strongly at the top of the pool. It's a sprint then to the finish. Personal best. Anyone who gets under 5:08 will be swimming a personal best here. Not quite at that time. 5:08.88 for Karabach. That's a season's best. Chloe Barnard, 5:09.75, just a shade outside her PB. Third place was Lexi O'Connor, 5:10.2. Olivia Robbins in 8th place there in the 13-14 category, 5:15.38. We think that should be good enough for a place in the 13-14 final. We also have to wait and see with more swimmers still to come. We have 6 heats left. This is heat number 8. Our swimmers in Heat 8. Clementine Lovell for Team Ipswich. Sierra Broadbelt for Mount Kelly. Amy Kenworthy for Winsford. Constance Logan for Mount Kelly. Evangeline Stacey for City of Leeds. Morgan Brand for Rugby. Zara Beaumont for Millfield. Molly Fisher for City of Manchester Aquatics, Rebecca Reid for Aberdeen, and Mari Gibson for City of Cardiff. Reaching for the wall in lane 4 there was Morgan Brand, just beaten to the touch at the 50-metre turn by Sierra Broadbelt in lane 8. In this heat, Clementine Lovell at the top of the picture, swimming in the 15-year age group with a chance of a place in that final. And in lane 5, in the yellow cap, City of Leeds swimmer Evangeline Stacey. I think a good chance of a final place, but she'd need to swim around 5:07 in the 17-year age group. Broadbelt and Lovell turning first into backstroke. And Broadbelt with a good turn, getting up onto the surface, into her stroke and into her rhythm. Broadbelt looking good here on the backstroke, also looking good on the backstroke. Coming through in lane 2, Molly Fisher for City of Manchester Aquatics. And Amy Kenworthy, 3 lanes from the top of the picture for Winsford. Everybody into their rhythm now. As we come to the halfway turn in the backstroke leg, it's going to be Broadbelt first over, followed by Lovell. Lovell and Molly Fisher actually turning in the same time. Molly Fisher in lane 2, joint second at that turn. Sierra Broadbelt then, our leader, and has been looking good ever since she turned into backstroke here. Lovell and Molly Fisher still neck and neck in second place. And in lane 6, Constance Logan has come through here for Mount Kelly. Constance Logan may well turn in third place here. Broadbelt into breaststroke first, followed by Lovell, then Logan and Fisher. And now we might see a change in the positions as we swim the 100 metres of breaststroke. Looking good here, Molly Fisher, 3 lanes from the bottom of the picture, and also coming back in lane 9, Clementine Lovell, swimming past Sierra Broadbelt at the top of the picture. Lovell, remember, in the 15-year age group. And Lovell has got a personal best of 5:07.99. If she swims on that time, she'll be getting into the 15-year final. She's turning first there in 3:10.42. Followed into the turn by Broadbelt, 3:12.9, and then Rebecca Reid and Molly Fisher. So Lovell in lane 9. It all depends on the clock. We've still got 125 metres to go, but 5:07 will get her into the 15 years final. And I think really that's the swimmer we're going to be watching in terms of qualifying for a final in this heat, with 5 heats still to come after this. Lovell then, turning in 3:54.3. Well, you'd like to think she's on for a PB with that. A personal best of 5:07.99. I think we're going to be well inside that. So Clementine Lovell looks good here for a place in the 15 years final. She's our leader. Evangeline Stacey we've got to keep an eye on as well in lane 5. She's coming through strongly now in the yellow cap for City of Leeds. And Evangeline Stacey will be thinking under 5:07 would be good for a place in the 17 years final. So Evangeline Stacey in lane 5 turning now. We're watching for a time under 5:07 for her. I don't think we're quite going to be that speed for Stacey, so she's going to be borderline for a place in the 17 years final. But Clementine Lovell, watching the clock now for a 5:07.99. We've got strong finishes for Rebecca Reid and for Sierra Broadbelt. And I don't think it is going to be quick enough for Lovell because she's losing momentum now. Broadbelt might actually beat her to the touch. Strong finish from Broadbelt. They touch together. Broadbelt 5:08.82, Lovell 5:08.87. And we thought that was going to be a PB pace for Clementine Lovell. with 100 metres to go. That is going to be wait and see territory for a place in the 15 years final for Clementine Lovell. The other swimmer we're looking for a place in the final, finishing in fourth there, was Evangeline Stacey, 5:11.01. And we've had some really good times already in the 17 years category. So Evangeline Stacey, we'll have to wait to see if that's top 10 in the 17 years age group. I think it's probably going to be just outside. So Lovell and Stacey, the two swimmers who'll be thinking and aiming in that heat for places in their individual age group finals. Lovell 5:08.87 and Evangeline Stacey in fourth, 5:11.01. I think they both have to wait and see. On we go now to heat number 9. Our swimmers in this heat are Holly Hopwood for Guildford City, Chloe Cook for City of Sheffield, Darcy Platt, City of Leicester, Emmy Aitken, University of Aberdeen Performance, Willow Harrison, City of Sheffield, Charlotte Cope, Guildford City, Ruby Wheeler, Basildon and Phoenix, Sophie Trail, Stockport Metro, Coco Croxford, South Lanarkshire, and Emily Maxwell for Northumberland and Durham Performance. Sophie Trail well ahead of the field at the first turn, 29.42. Her split for the first 50 metres. And Holly Hopwood at the top of the picture was second to that turn. Chloe Cook, City of Sheffield, in lane 8, coming up as well, but keep an eye on Coco Croxford, 2 lanes from the bottom. She's looking very good in this second 50 of Butterfly. Sophie Trail will be first to turn into backstroke. Trail's time 64.45. And second there, Coco Croxford, 66.35 at the turn. So it's Trail leading, Croxford in second place at the moment. Now in this heat, I think we've got potential finalists in both the 15-year category and the 17-year age group. So we'll keep an eye on the times. Coco Croxford turning first, followed by Holly Hopwood. Those two are 16-year age group swimmers. Third at that turn was Holly Hopwood, also a 16-year age group swimmer. Chloe Cook, third at that turn in lane 8. A real medal potential in the 17-year age group. And the other 17-year-olds in this heat, Charlotte Cope in lane 4, Sophie Trail in 2, and Emily Maxwell in lane 0. At the turn then, Sophie Trail just behind Croxford. And in we go to breaststroke now. More medal contenders in lanes 5, not medal contenders, final contenders in lanes 5 and 6. Willow Harrison and Emmy Aitken. Emmy Aitken, 4 lanes from the top in the white cap. Looking like she might be good for a place in the 15 years final at the moment. Holly Hopwood's our leader now in this heat. Going well on this breaststroke leg, and so too is Coco Croxford. They will turn first and second. It's Hopwood then, ahead of Croxford, with Trail in third. We've got about 30 metres of breaststroke still to swim. Our first 4 swimmers at the moment, reading from the top of the picture, Holly Hopwood, and now Darcy Platt's in lane 7 coming through. In the lanes closest to us, Sophie Trail and Coco Croxford. And we've got swimmers closing in now as we turn into freestyle. It's Hopwood first at the turn, followed by Platts, then Trail, who's looking good for a place in the 17-year final. So too Chloe Cook challenging for a place in the 17-year final. And possibly Charlotte Cope in lane 4 as well. Hopwood and Darcy Platts. And they're going to be first to the turn here, the final turn. And Platts is actually going to get to the wall first. The swimmers in this heat have personal best ranging from 5:04 to 5:06. And I think we might see a couple of PBs broken then. 5:04, 5:06 would be worth places in finals for several swimmers here then. So watch the clock. Holly Hopwood at the top of the picture. Her personal best is 5:06. She's going to swim quicker than that. Darcy Platts, also 5:06 in the past. 2 PBs there. Ruby Wheeler in lane 3 with 5:06.17, just outside her best. And Sophie Trail in lane 4, 5:06.29. Now, I would think that Sophie Trail's time there, 5:06.29, is worth a place in the 17-year final. Willow Harrison is in 15-year category in 5th place there, 5:06.94. That will get her into the final in her age group. Other swimmers will have to wait and see. We have 4 heats to come. This is heat 10. And you'll see lane 6 is empty here. Our swimmers are Nuala Gow for Garriock, Evangeline Belts for Plymouth Leander, Petra Varga for Wirral Metro. Lane 6 then the empty lane. Lois Child is in 5, Caris O'Reilly in 4. Child swimming for Harrogate District, O'Reilly for City of Sheffield. In lane 3 is Darcy Crossley, City of Leeds. Lane 2, Abigail Miles, City of Sheffield. Lane 1, Oriana Wheeler for Swansea University, and lane 0, Laura Sharp, also of Swansea University. Oriana Wheeler was first at the turn there. Lois Child in lane 5 is a real medal contender in the 13-14 age group. So that's 5 lanes from the top of the picture in the yellow cap. So we'd expect her to swim her way into the final in this heat, as long as she swims somewhere around the 5:07 mark or better. We could have places in the 16-year-old final here, probably for the fastest 16-year-old swimmer. And at the moment, that is Petra Varga in lane 7, who was second at that turn. I'll keep you up to date with the situation for the 16-year-old swimmers. Probably the fastest 16-year-old swimmer in this heat will qualify for the 16-year age group final. That will be the target. The finals, of course, at 5 p.m. tonight. I'm sure you'll appreciate we can't be absolutely certain who qualifies for the final at the moment they hit the wall, because we have plenty of swimmers still to come. You can look on the Aquatics GB website, of course, to get the full results and confirm who qualifies for the finals. That is the place to go. Varga out in front there for Wirral Metro in lane 7. And looking good on this backstroke leg, with second place at the moment, Darcy Crossley. And both of these swimmers, our first 2 swimmers at the moment, are in that 16-year age group. I think the fastest 16-year-old swimmer in this heat will get into the 16-year final. Maybe the fastest 2. Backstroke to breaststroke turns then. We see that wide variety of the way swimmers turn. from backstroke to breaststroke. And Petra Varga out in front, followed by Darcy Crossley in second place, and in third now, Caris O'Reilly, City of Sheffield. Fourth, 3 lanes from the bottom, is Abigail Miles, also of City of Sheffield. And then looking across the pool, going well on the far side, Nuala Gal for Garriock. And in lane 8, 2 lanes from the top there, we've got Evangeline Belt for Plymouth Leander. Lane 0, Laura Sharp, Swansea University turning now. We've got 3 lengths of the pool to go then. 1 length of breaststroke, then 2 of freestyle. It's Varga out in front. Caris O'Reilly now coming through strongly in the red cap in the centre of the pool. And then in the yellow in lane 4. In lane 3, 4 lanes from the bottom of the picture, Darcy Crossley, City of Leeds, and also going strongly now on this breaststroke in lane 2, Abigail Miles. I think she might get to the wall in 4th place. No, maybe just behind Nuala Gal at the turns, between those two to turn 4th. Our leader is Petra Varga, with Caris O'Reilly in second. Abigail Miles coming through into third, just ahead now of Darcy Crossley. Varga then coming to the final turn. 1 length to go. Turning in 4:25.9. Her personal best is 5:05.28. She's going to beat that. And if Petra Varga swims under 5:05, well, she'll definitely be in the 16 years final. So Petra Varga looking good then for a place in that final. We're looking for a PB time then for Petra Varga of under 5:05, coming into the wall in 5:00.21, a 5-second personal best. She's into the 16 years final with that. Abigail Miles second, 5:06.49. Third place, Caris O'Reilly in 5:06.64. Darcy Crossley was in 4th place there in 5:08.09. And that's wait and see territory, I think, for a place in the 16 years final. But Petra Varga with 5:00.21, she'll be in the 16 years final. Heat 11, and this is the first of our seeded heats. No, it isn't. Actually, we're not sitting the last 3 heats, we're sitting the last 2 heats in the 400. So my mistake there, but you'll see how it works when we get to the last 2 heats. This heat is featuring Alice Forrest, Northumberland and Durham Performance, then Emma Allett-File for Guildford City, Hazel Ann Carter for Wickham District, Lacey Roberts for Plymouth Leander, Louise Bresler, Guildford City, Matilda Bogle for Team Ipswich, Emma Price for Northumberland and Durham Performance. Lane 2 is Lily Jackson Oates for Nova Centurion, Lane 1 Livia Kingston for Nova Centurion, and Lane 0 Rachel Hornby for Swansea University. So it isn't a seeded heat, but it is our swimmers who are ranked from 21st to 30th in the rankings. That's how it works, and I think swimmers looking for places in their finals here are in lane 9, Alice Forrest in the 15-year category. In lane 7, Hazel Ann Carter in the 16-year age group. In lane 3 as well in the 16-year age group, Emma Price. And in lane 6, Lacey Roberts, who turned there in 2nd place. And Lacey is swimming in the 17-year age group. We will keep up to date with all of those positions as we go along. Lane 4, Matilda Bogle, our leader. And Matilda is in the 18s and over category. We're getting to the point here, I think, with the swimmers still to come, the 20 swimmers still to come, where I think first place for the 18s and over in this heat, and you're thinking that could be a place in the, probably will be a place in the final. So Matilda Bogle will be looking at that. In lane 6, Lacey Roberts, Plymouth Leander in second place. And Lacey Roberts is in the 17-year category, where she will be a medal contender. Lacey Roberts, as long as we see her swim around 5:05 or better, will be in to the 17 years final. We turn from backstroke to breaststroke now. This is Bogle turning first. Second at the turn is going to be Alice Forrest on the far side. Now, Alice, we'd expect to get into the final with her personal best for the 15 years age group. And she's looking good now into breaststroke, Alice Forrest. So it's Matilda Bogle in the lead, looking for a place in the 18s and over final. Then Alice Forrest in second, looking for a place in the 15 years final. And in third, Lacey Roberts, looking for a place in the 17 years age group final. And we've got several breaststroke specialists now coming through in this heat. And we're going to see a big change in the lead over the next 50 metres, that's for sure. Forrest turning first, then it was Rachel Hornby in lane 0, followed by Louise Bresler in 5, Bogle turning fourth, and Hazel Ann Carter turning there next. So our first three now, we're looking at lane 5, Louise Bresler, lane 9, Alice Forrest, maybe next is lane 7, Hazel Ann Carter, and now coming through very well, Emma Allett-File as well in lane 8. And lane 0, Rachel Hornby is going to turn in second place. We go to freestyle now then. Bresler is our leader, and if she wins this heat, I think we probably are looking at a place in the 18s and over final. Hazel Ann Carter swimming for a place in the 16 years final, and looking good here on the freestyle for Wickham District. She's coming through strongly. Hazel Ann Carter, the strongest freestyle 50 metres there. Second at the turn, Alice Forrest, and Alice Forrest is going to be swimming for a place here in the 15-year final, that's for sure. We're looking for times around the 5-minute mark. 5:01 or better is very good for swimmers in this heat. We're going to see several personal bests here. Hazel Ann Carter's going to win the heat, and she's going to qualify for the 16-year final with this time 5:01.85. Alice Forrest is into the 15-year final with 5:02.99. Rachel Hornby in third, 5:04.82. That's wait and see for the 18s and over final, but I think that quite possibly is going to qualify. Louise Bresler was fourth there. Emma Price in 7th place in the 16-year category. That's just about in the final, I think. Lacey Roberts, 5:08.13, might not quite make the 17-year final. Heat 12, and this is the first of our seeded heats. The final 2 heats in this event are seeded. Susie McNair is our second fastest ranked swimmer in the event overall. From the top of your screen, then it's Holly Wayman for Maxwell, then Annabelle Cook for City of Sheffield, Millie Threlfall for City of Leeds. Her teammate Matilda Potter is in lane 6, also in the yellow cap. Then in lane 5, Phoebe Cooper, City of Sheffield. Susie McNair is in lane 4 for Stirling. Amelie Smith for Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson in 3. Katie Lee, City of Salford in 2. Lydia Cordell of Repton in 1. And Neve Savory for Newcastle in lane 0. Matilda Potter turning first. The swimmers in this heat are spread across 4 age categories in fact, 14 years, 15 years, 16 years and 17 years. But there are no swimmers in this heat in the 18s and over. So that's why I think top times from the previous heat for 18s and over will be good enough for places in that final. Our leader at this turn is going to be Matilda Potter. And Matilda's in the 16-year age group. Amelie Smith, second at the turn, is in the 15-year age group. At the turn then, it was Potter from Smith, and now it's Smith leading Potter, I would say. But not much between them. Susie McNair in lane 4, up in third place. Then maybe it's Holly Waymond on the far side in lane 9 for Maxwell. Coming up then to the halfway turn on backstroke. Potter and Smith turning together. Then it's Lee and Waymond in third and fourth. And coming through 3 lanes from the bottom of the picture, Katie Lee, City of Salford, looking good on this backstroke leg. She's getting more strokes in per 10 seconds than everybody else. So the fastest stroke rate in the pool right now, I would say, for Katie Lee, City of Salford, swimming right up into the leading group at the turn. She'll probably turn third here. They touch with a hand before they do their turn. So it's Potter, then Smith, then Lee. Now breaststroke, where things change an awful lot. Lane 6, Potter. Looks like she is now in second place behind Amelie Smith. So Smith in the 15-year age group, and I think it's pretty safe to think she will be qualifying for her final with this performance. And I think Matilda Potter in lane 6 will be qualifying for the 16 years final as well. Lydia Calder just turning there in lane 1. Will be trying to get in the 13-14 year category. That's 2 lanes from the bottom of your picture. We'll check on her time when we get the results at the end of this heat, just to see whether we think she's quick enough to qualify there. Let's concentrate then at the head of the race then. Between these 2 swimmers, they've had a good breaststroke leg, both of them. That's lane 3, Amelie Smith in the dark cap, and in lane 6 in the yellow cap, Matilda Potter for City of Leeds. They're going to turn very close to one another into freestyle. And with 1 heat to go, I think these 2 swimmers are both going to qualify for their respective age group finals. Susie McNair turning in third in the white cap. And then in fourth at that turn on the far side of the pool was Holly Waymond for Maxwell. And it looks like Potter is swimming away on this freestyle. She's actually going to turn first. Matilda Potter has got a personal best in this event of 4:56.27. We're going to be around that sort of pace. We're in personal best territory then for Potter. Smith has got a PB of 4:53.85. I'm not sure we're going to be quite that quick, but we are going to be quick enough for Amelie Smith to get into the final. Lane 6 then, Matilda Potter coming home. Remember, PB 4:56.27, and that's broken by Matilda Potter. Well done there, 4:54.82. Amelie Smith qualifying for the final for 15-year swimmers. Susie McNair, 5:00.42. That should get her in the 17 years final. But expect Susie McNair to be challenging for medals at her best. So it looks like Susie McNair probably held something back for later. Remember, we also need to look at the times here for Lydia Caudle. 5:06.68, I think that's a 13-14 year final qualification. Millie Threlfall, Annabelle Cook, 5:05, 5:07. I think they'll be in the 15 years finals with those times. Here's our final heat. This is heat 13. And you'll see that lane 7 is empty. So our swimmers are Eloise Rathbone-Jones for City of Cardiff, Eleanor Broughton for Repton, then the empty lane, lane 7. Abby Roscoe's in lane 6, Amelie Bloxage in lane 5 for City of Salford. Lane 4, Beatrice Varley, Plymouth Leander. Lane 3, Holly Robinson for Repton. Another Repton swimmer in lane 2, Holly Marshall. In lane 1, it's Ailsa MacDonald for Edinburgh. And in lane 0, Innes Gimmon-Beaton for Camden Swiss Cottage. Holly Marshall was first to the turn there, followed by Abby Roscoe, and then Beatrice Varley. We've got a few swimmers here in the 18s and over category, and I think if you want to guarantee a place in the final in the 18s and overs now, you've got to be going under 5 minutes. If you're outside 5 minutes in the 18s and over, well, it's wait and see. Coming into the turn in lane 2, Holly Marshall, and in lane 6, Abby Roscoe. And we turn to backstroke, quick into her stroke, Abby Roscoe, while Holly Marshall went for the dolphin kicks and the underwater turn. And now coming through, Ailsa MacDonald in lane 1, looking very good on this backstroke. Fourth place at the moment is lane 4, Beatrice Varley. And now emerging in 3, Holly Robinson. 4 lanes from the bottom of the picture. 2 lanes from the top of the picture, Eleanor Broughton going well too. Marshall turning first, followed by Roscoe. And then MacDonald, Varley, and then Robinson. Our leader then, 3 lanes from the bottom of the picture, Holly Marshall. In second place, well, it's tight to choose at the moment between lane 1, Ailsa MacDonald, and lane 6, Abby Roscoe. And then next is lane 3, Holly Robinson. Marshall turning first. You see the variety of turns for backstroke to breaststroke. Lots of different techniques being used. And Holly Marshall is out in front here on the breaststroke leg. Long gliding stroke for Marshall. Long gliding stroke as well for Ailsa MacDonald, 2 lanes from the bottom. And it looks like Beatrice Varley in the silver cap in lane 4 is swimming quicker than anyone right now on this breaststroke. Coming through in lane 4 in the silver cap for Plymouth Leander. First to the wall will be Holly Marshall, and then it's Varley. And if the first 50 of breaststroke's anything to go by, I think Varley will probably come through to be leading by the end of this length of the pool. Ailsa MacDonald, 2 lanes from the bottom of the picture, still in there. And we've got 4 swimmers in adjacent lanes now in first, second, third and fourth places. It's Varley in the lead, and then in second place, I think now Ailsa MacDonald in lane 1, probably followed by Holly Robinson in 3, and then Marshall in 2. Varley turning first into freestyle, then Robinson, MacDonald and Marshall, and followed by Abby Roscoe into the turn. Abby Roscoe in lane 6. I think we can safely say that she'll be qualifying for the 15 years final with this swim. We're looking at Beatrice Varley swimming her way into the 18s and over final with this performance as well. Ailsa McDonald, Holly Marshall and Holly Robinson. Well, they're probably all going to get into the final, but it's possible that one of them could miss out. I don't know. It does depend on the time. No, I think the times are going to be quick enough here for all four of those swimmers to get in the finals for the 18s and over. So I think we've got 4 qualifiers for 18s and over here, looking pretty secure. Varley's going to win the heat, and she's taken her foot right off the accelerator to finish first in 4:57.57. Robinson and Marshall, they'll be in the 18s and over final with those times 4:58.41, 4:58.83. Abby Roscoe will be in the 15s final with 4:58.97. Ailsa McDonald, yes, I think that's a place in the 18s and over final as well, 4:58.99. And in 6th place, Amelie Bloxage, 5:01.67. In 6th place, she'll be back for the 15 years final with that time. Ines Beaton hoping that that time of 5:05.6 in 8th place is good enough for the 16 years final. Well done everyone in the women's 400 metres individual medley. We had some great swims there, some big PBs. Our next event is men's 200 metres individual medley, and we're using 7 lanes in heat 1. Our 7 swimmers in this heat, reading from the top of the picture, furthest away from us, Jack Smith for City of Leicester, Robert Shipley for Middlesbrough, Rory Vick for Warrender, Zach Bourne-Whittington for Kingston upon Hull, Martin Vermats for Camden Swiss Cottage, George Bailey for Exeter City, and Alex Bates for Chesterfield. I think Alex Bates will get to the wall first here in lane 1, just ahead of Bailey. 28.96, the fastest time for the first 50 metres of butterfly. This is the 200 metres individual medley, so it's just 50 metres of each stroke. We turn into backstroke then. 1 length butterfly, 1 length backstroke, 1 length breaststroke, 1 length freestyle. That's the 200 metres individual medley in this 50 metre pool. And now in lane 5, Rory Vick of Warren the Baths Club, looking like he's got the strongest backstroke in this field. So he'll turn first to breaststroke. You see the different types of turn. And then Vic first into breaststroke, followed by Jack Smith. All swimmers here in the 13-14 age group in this heat. And looking good now in lane 3. Martin Vermat on this breaststroke leg. Also on the far side, Jack Smith, City of Leicester. They'll be the first 2 to the wall. Vermat turning first into freestyle then, followed by Jack Smith, and then Rory Vick. And now they sprint for the finish. Our leader here, Martin Vermat, has a PB of 2:22.54. And on the far side, Jack Smith, 2:22.86. I think we're going to be under 2 minutes 20 for our first 2 swimmers in this heat. So they're PBs. Look at this. Big PBs. Martin Vermat, 2:17.9. Jack Smith, 2:18.58. Zach Bourne-Whittington in 3rd place there. He's got a lifetime best with 2:21.15 as well. Rory Vick also breaking his PB in 4th place. In 5th there was Alex Bates, 2:22.8. Our first 5 swimmers in that heat, all with personal best times. So well done to them. That's Martin Vermat, Jack Smith, Zach Bourne-Whittington, Rory Vick and Alex Bates. On to heat 2. Our swimmers in Heat 2 are Leo Talbot for Bolton Metro, Raphael Corliano for City of Cambridge, Conor McCullen, City of Leeds, James Biddick, Exeter City, Benjamin McDougall, Wickham District, Jacob Bacon, City of Peterborough, Dominic Bartoletti for Repton, Patrick O'Hara, City of Leeds, Eden Saints, Derby XL, and Frederick Brown for Guildford City. Dominic Bartoletti first to the wall, well, beaten to the touch actually by James Biddick in lane 6, and we go into backstroke now. High stroke rate for Jacob Bacon, 4 lanes from the bottom of the picture. So he's really trying to get through this backstroke and build an advantage before he turns into breaststroke. Lane 5 looking good on this backstroke. Benjamin McDougall as well. Bartoletti turning first, then nothing to choose really between Bacon, McDougall and Biddick. Second, third and fourth. Who's got the stronger breaststroke of these leading 4? In 5th, in lane 0, nearest to us is Frederick Brown for Guildford City, who looks like he might swim into this leading group before we get to the turn. And also Leo Talbot on the far side going well. Turning now from breaststroke into freestyle. And it looks like it's going to be a straight sprint between these 4 swimmers. Everyone in this heat is in the 13-14 year age group. And away we go. I think if you want to get in the final for 13s and 14s, you probably need a time of 2:16 or 2:17 in this heat to be really thinking that that's going to be quick enough. If we get 2:16 or 2:17 from anyone in this heat, then you'd be really thinking that's a definite final place. Not quite that fast, but we are going to have personal best. James Biddick, 2:18.13. He knocks 3 seconds off his PB. Jacob Bacon, 2:18.97. That's a 2-second personal best. Leo Talbot, 2:19.72. More than 2 seconds quicker than he swum before. Benjamin McDougall in 4th place, 2:20.12. That's more than a second off his PB. Dominic Bartoletti, 2:20.22. That's a PB as well. So PBs for the first 5 again there. Biddick, Bacon, Talbot, etc. We move on to heat number 3. Our swimmers in this heat: Henry Shepherd for Bromley, Aidan Maref for Wickham District, Connor Aspinall for East Lothian, James Wright for Millfield, Harry Robinson for Reeds, William Irvin for Mount Kelly, Ross Edwards, City of Cardiff, Joseph Storr, City of Coventry, Nikolai Cisnet for City of Glasgow, and Benjamin Roberts for Grantham. Nikolai Cisnet with a strong butterfly leg, followed by Benjamin Roberts into the wall there. We've got 3 swimmers in the 13-14 age group in this heat. Our leader, Nikolai Cisnet, is one of those. Also in the 13-14 age group on the far side of the pool, Henry Shepherd, and in lane 5, Harry Robinson. Cisnet's going to turn first from backstroke to breaststroke. 61.09 at the turn there for Cisnet. And looking very smooth on the breaststroke. Don't want to tempt fate, but I think Nikolai Cisnet is on for a big PB and a place in the 13-14s final with this swim. 3 lanes from the top of the picture, Connor Aspinall going well. And then 4 lanes from the top of the picture, surging through now, is James Wright from Millfield. Look at James Wright in lane 6 and in lane 4, William Irvin. 2 really good breaststroke legs there. Cisnet still in the lead, going into freestyle. It's Cisnett, then Roberts, Irvine and Wright at the turn. And finishing quicker than anyone here, I think Benjamin Roberts for Grantham. He's in the 15-year age group. Henry Shepherd going well for Bromley on the far side. So lane 9 and lane 1, I think, competing for a place in the 13-14 final. I think Henry Shepherd with this time is going to get there. Let's have a look at the time. 2:15.9. A 2-second PB for our winner, Benjamin Roberts. Henry Shepherd will get into the 13-14 final with that time. 2:16.75, a huge personal best. He's not 4 seconds off his PB. Ross Edwards, 2:17.11. Personal best again. William Irvine. All good swims there. On to heat number 4. Our swimmers in heat 4. Coquan Ma for City of Cardiff. Benjamin Perdagil for Chelsea and Westminster. Benjamin Beale for Northumberland and Durham Performance. Matthew Scott for Newcastle. Then in lane 5, Samuel Hall for Elmbridge Phoenix. Lane 4, Harvey Kershaw, Mount Kelly. Dylan Mitchell's in 3 for Warrender Baths. In lane 2, it's How She for City of Sheffield. Lane 1, Zander Tovey for Millfield. And lane 0, Joshua Burkill, Sutton and Cheam. Zander Tovey leading with 75 metres now swum. In second in lane 6, Matthew Scott, and in third on the far side, Joshua Burkill. Zander Tovey's in the 13-14 age group, and looking good here for a place in his final, that's for sure. On to breaststroke. Tovey then ahead of Matthew Scott, and then Coquan Ma on the far side turn there in third place. I reckon that the 13-14 swimmers in this heat, that's Zander Tovey, Harvey Kershaw, Benjamin Beale and Benjamin Perdagil, will all be thinking a good swim gets them in the final here. So we've got to watch those times. Tovey certainly looks like he's on course for that, in second place at the turn. So it's Scott, Tovey, She and then Ma. Zander Tovey, 2 lanes from the bottom, second place here, but he'll be going into the 13-14s final with this swim. Okay, let's have a look at the PBs then. In lane 6, Matthew Scott, his best so far is 2:15.7. He's going to be very close to that. Times of 2:15 are going to be very good in this heat. It's 2:14.82, a personal best there. Zander Tovey into the 13-14 final with a PB as well, 2:16.04. How She, 2:16.07, also with a personal best. Fourth place there was Coquan Ma. And the time there for Ma was 2:17.74. On we go to heat number 5. Our swimmers in this heat are Finlay Bruce for Perth City, Caden Hitchens for City of Birmingham, Austin Manley for Repton, Oscar Duval for Biddulph, Oscar Bellinger for Plymouth Leander. Lane 4 is empty. Lane 3 is Joseph Hall, City of Leeds. Lane 2, Makar Yakno, Portsmouth Northsea. Another Portsmouth Northsea swimmer in lane 1, Lucas Lovell. And in lane 0, Rock Vella Obiols. We've just heard we are going to have a swim off at the end of this session. And it's in the women's 100 metres freestyle. It's to be first reserve in the 17 years age group. So Izzy Blackhurst and Emily Maxwell will swim again at the end of this session, women's 100 metres freestyle. That will come at the end of our scheduled races in this session. Leading here in lane 6, we've got Oscar de Waal for Bidolf at the turn as we go backstroke into breaststroke. Austin Manley turning with him in lane 7. As we look here across the pool, we've got 4 13-14 year swimmers. They are in lane 8. Caden Hitchens has got a brilliant breaststroke. Look at him coming through here. Austin Manley in the black cap in the lane closer to us. And then at the bottom end of the pool, nearest to us, Makar Yakno 3 lanes from the bottom and Rockefeller Obiols in lane 0. The way things are going, I think Hitchens, Manley and Yakno are definitely going to be in the 13-14 final with their swims. Lane 9, Finley Bruce trying to get in the 15s final here, and Oscar de Waal in lane 6 trying to do that as well. So that's lanes 9 and 6 fighting for a place in the final for the 15s and the 15-year age group. Right, swimming through here very well is Oscar Bellinger in lane 5. It looks like he's going to win this heat, but maybe Austin Manley in 7 could get there. No, it's lane 5. Oscar Bellinger, a personal best time of 2:15.04. Makar Yakno, sorry, I missed that. Makar Yakno in lane 2. What a finish from him. 2:14.98. Personal best there as well. Swimming his way into the 13-14 final, no doubt about that. Austin Manley in 3rd there will be in the final, I'm sure, for the 15-year-old swimmer, 13-14s as well. On now to heat 6. And lane 6 is empty here. Our swimmers are Ralph Serecki for Mount Kelly, Harry Milne for Repton, Max Higgins for Millfield. Then we've got the empty lane in 6. Pat Robinson for Team Ipswich, Roger Davis for Soundwell, Saxon Minto for Chelmsford City, Royus Kringelis for City of Glasgow, Alexander Andrews for Mid Sussex Marlins, and Oscar Winterburn for Team Ipswich. Alexander Andrews turning in 27.21, ahead of Harry Milne for Repton, and then Ralph Serecki for Mount Kelly. On to backstroke we go then. And our leading 2 are in lanes 1 and 8, Andrews and Milne. Our swimmers in the golden lanes in the middle in 4 and 5, Roger Davis and Pat Robinson coming into contention now as we come to the backstroke to breaststroke turn. Milne, Andrews, Robinson, Serecki and Davis. That's the order as they turn there. And Milne looking good on the breaststroke now. We look across the pool on the breaststroke to see who is going to come through and emerge. Lane 5 looking good here, Patch Robinson. High stroke rate from Robinson, really surging through this breaststroke leg, and he's going to be very close to Milne when they turn into freestyle. I think Robinson will be in the lead here. Swimming so fast, yes he will, look at that. Great breaststroke 50 metres there for Patch Robinson. Get away from the wall as quick as you can. Into freestyle, Robinson, Milne, then Davis. Personal best times in this heat. Patch Robinson's best is 2:15.23. Harry Milne's 2:15.44. If we get under 2 minutes 15, you've had a really good swim for anyone in this heat then. Patch Robinson's going to do that, so is Harry Milne. They're both going to be under 2:15, but by how much? Robinson 2:12.6, Harry Milne 2:12.97, Oscar Winterburn 2:15.23. That's a personal best in 3rd place as well then. Roger Davis in 4th with 2:15.92. PBs for our first 3 swimmers in that heat: Patch Robinson, Harry Milne and Oscar Winterburn. We go on now to heat number 7. Our swimmers in this heat: Oliver Murray for Millfield, Harvey Pike for Street and District, Thomas Woofenden, City of Leeds, Kenzie McLean, Perth City, Isaac Thompson for Tigers of Jersey, Joe Jennings, Leander, Jensen Owen, City of Sheffield, Gregor Ross for City of Glasgow, Alfie Owen for Wigan Best, and Harry Pearce for Mount Kelly. Harvey Pike swimming the butterfly leg quicker than anyone else, 27.82. Second at the turn there was Kenzie McLean for Perth City. I think the swimmers who are aiming for finals here are in lane 9 on the far side: Oliver Murray, Thomas Woofenden, 3 lanes from the top of the picture, and 2 from the bottom, Alfie Owen. They're all in the 15-year age group. If they get under 2:15, then they should be in the 15 years final. So bear that in mind when we get to the end of the race. We turn backstroke to breaststroke. Isaac Thompson leading, ahead of Jensen Owen. Owen, remember, a 15-year swimmer. I didn't mention him before, but he's a 15-year swimmer as well, so swimming for a place in the 15s final. It's Isaac Thompson out in front, looking good on this breaststroke, ahead of Joe Jennings. They'll turn first and second. Thompson, then Jennings, and then it's going to be Jensen Owen. Jensen Owen, I think, then on his way to the 15-year age group final, 4 lanes from the bottom of our picture. There's no doubt about that. This is a good swim for him. And then our race leader is Isaac Thompson, but he's being overhauled now by Joe Jennings. 2:14 or better would be really good swimming for these swimmers. For anyone under 2:14, they've had a great swim, and that's brilliant for Joe Jennings and Isaac Thompson. Also brilliant for Jensen Owen and Kenzie McLean. They get under that 2:14 mark. They were good swims right across the pool. Everybody pretty close to personal best times if they didn't break them. Joe Jennings taking 3 seconds off his PB. Isaac Thompson also taking more than a second off his. Jensen Owen into the 15-year final, no doubt about that, with his swim. Here's Heat 8. Lane 6 is empty here. Our swimmers are Jack Bamborough for City of Cardiff, Giulio Migliorina for Camden Swiss Cottage, Finley Richardson for Guildford City, then the empty lane, then it's Samuel Sutcliffe for Ramsbottom, Wilfred Lee for Millfield, James Page for City of Birmingham, Archie Dandy for Leicester Sharks, Roman Levchenko for Nova Centurion, and Jack Bignell for Northampton. First to the turn, Roman Levchenko for Nova Centurion in lane 1, and second at that turn, Giulio Migliorina for Camden Swiss Cottage. Coming through on the backstroke, Roman Levchenko for Nova Centurion. We have 3 15-year-old swimmers in this heat. 2 of them are in the middle lanes, Wilfred Lee and Samuel Sutcliffe, and then 3 from the top, Finley Richardson. I think all 3 of those should qualify comfortably for the 15-year final. Here comes the turn, and watch out now for Wilfred Lee in lane 4 as we go into breaststroke. You'd expect him to swim through here in the green cap, in the golden lanes in the middle. Wilfred Lee also going well here, Roman Levchenko. But Lee is now coming through into first place. Long gliding stroke for Wilfred Lee, hanging on to that glide in the streamline position. Lanes 8 and 9, 2 and 3 from the top of your picture going well there, Migliorina and Richardson as well. But it's Wilfred Lee who turns first. He'll be into the 15s final with this swim. Second at the turn was Levchenko, and third, Samuel Sutcliffe. The 2 swimmers in the middle lanes, first and second here, they're both going to qualify for the 15s final with this swim. We want to get under 2:13 really in this heat for the anyone in this heat under 2:13. That's brilliant. So obviously fantastic swims here for our first two in 2:10, but also going quickly then in third and fourth, James Page and Roman Nevchenko. Well done to both of them. 2:12s for those swimmers. Archie Dandy 2:13.44, finishing in 5th place in the heats, but breaking his personal best as well. On we go to heat 9. And our swimmers are Jacob Barnett for Northumberland and Durham Performance, Benjamin Guthrie for City of Milton Keynes, Joseph Ashley, City of Liverpool, Louis Thorne, City of Bristol, Santino Del Real for Chelsea and Westminster, Raheel Mahmood for Romford Town, Lachlan Beasley, City of Manchester Aquatics, Finley Pope for Ramsbottom, Sky Sharples for Portsmouth North Sea, and Thomas Traynor for South Lanarkshire. Not much between our first 4 swimmers there, all under 28 seconds for the butterfly leg. Thorne, Beasley, Mahmood and Ashley. Sky Sharples in lane 1, 2 from the bottom of the picture here, should make it into the 15s final as long as he's in contention with everybody else in this heat. And 3 lanes from the top of the picture, Joseph Ashley, and in lane 5, Santino Del Real. They're both fighting for places in the 16 age group final. Turning first then into breaststroke is Finley Pope, followed by Louis Thorne, and then Raheel Mahmood. Out in front then, Finley Pope. And Raheel Mahmood coming through in lane 4. And also going well in lane 6 here, Louis Thorne on this breaststroke leg. I think they'll be the first 3. And look at this, 2 lanes from the top, Benjamin Guthrie. Turning first then, Raheel Mahmood in 1:40.3, followed into that turn by Louis Thorne and then Finley Pope. Lachlan Beasley was 4th at the turn. Now in this heat, how many swimmers can we get under 2 minutes 12? We're going pretty quickly here. 2:12 or faster is really good for everybody. Sky Sharples, you can see there, 2 lanes from the bottom. He's definitely going to get in the 15s final with this. 2:12, who can beat that time? Finley Pope can. Lachlan Beasley 2:12.07, that's good as well. Sky Sharples 2:12.72. Well, that's comfortably into the final for Sky Sharples in the 15-year age group. We've only got one more 15-year-old swimmer to come. Santino Del Real, 2:13.81, should qualify for the 16s final. Joseph Ashley might have got in the 16s final, but he was disqualified. So Joseph Ashley won't get into the final there. We go on to heat number 10 now. And our swimmers here are lane 9, Samuel Sterry for Tigers of Jersey, Henry Norman of Bromley, Jose Rodriguez Millfield, Fergus Thompson for Mount Kelly, Logan van der Meulen for Stirling, William Viney for City of Birmingham, Dennis Miałkowski for Royal Tunbridge Wells Monson, Edward Ormsby City of Cambridge, Aidan Orpin Sutton and Cheam, and Max Morgan for Reeds. Dennis Miałkowski with a huge turn. He was already in the lead at the turn and now he's swum away from everybody. Dennis, we would expect now to get into the 17-year age group final. He needs to go 2:10 or better to seal things for sure, but we've got 7 17-year-old swimmers in this heat. So the first 3 of those, I would think, would be in the finals. I will give you those names when we get to the end of the race. Miałkowski then way out in front. Way out in front. Coming through now in lanes 4 and 5, William Viney, City of Birmingham, and Logan van der Meulen for Sterling. Then in the second and third lanes closest to us, at the bottom of the picture there, we've got Aidan Orpin and Edward Ormsby going well. The far side, it's Samuel Sterry and Henry Norman. Jose Rodriguez in lane 7, 3 lanes from the top, is trying to get into the final here for the 15-year category. I think he'll do that. I know he's turning 10th here. I think he will qualify. He is our fastest 15-year-old. So he should qualify, even though he's in 10th place in this heat. But look here then, in lane 3, Denis Miałkowski. Still in front. On the far side, Samuel Sterry. Most of these swimmers in this heat are in the 17 age group. Miałkowski will get into the final for the 17, so will Samuel Sterry. Edward Ormsby in third should also get into that final with that time. Van der Meulen in fourth, 2:10.61. Miałkowski's time there, 2:09.14. Sam Sterry, 2:09.48. Both swimming very quickly there. On to heat 11. We have 3 heats to go. And our swimmers here are Jamie Gray for Plymouth Leander, Finlay Davis for Midlothian, Andrew Jones for the Royal Wolverhampton School, Philip Nowacki for Tigers, Luke Ibsen, Loughborough University, Edward Marcel Whittles for Chelsea and Westminster, John Britton, Ealing, Charlie Broom for City of Leeds, Cameron Rapson for City of Birmingham, and Leon Taylor for City of Brighton and Hove. Luke Ibsen turning in 26.21 ahead of Marcel Whittles, and we know Marcel Whittles will have a strong breaststroke to come. John Britton in third place there, and Philip Nowacki in fourth at that turn. 4 swimmers now emerging well on this backstroke leg. Marcel Whittles in 4, Luke Ibsen in 5, and in 7, Andrew Jones, and in 8, Finlay Davis. Backstroke to breaststroke there, Marcel Whittles. He's already got the lead. You'd expect him to extend this with his breaststroke. Leading here ahead of Andrew Jones. All but 2 of these swimmers are in the 18s and over age group. The 2 in the 17 years are in lanes 9, Jamie Gray at the top of the picture, and 4 lanes from the top, Philip Nowacki. And I think we're looking at places in the 17 years final for those 2, the way this heat is going. Certainly for Nowacki, I don't think there's any doubt about that. Marcel Whittles then still out in front after the breaststroke leg, and we go to freestyle, the last 50 metres. We've still got more than 10 18s and over swimmers to come. I think if you win this heat in 18s and over, you've got an outside chance of reaching the 18s and over final, but it's got to be a quick swim, and quick swims mean certainly under 2:05. Marcel Whittles 2:04.02, Luke Ibsen 2:04.41, Andrew Jones 2:05.08. Well, they are outside chances for Marcel Whittles, Ibsen and Jones. Wait and see for all of them. Obviously Marcel Whittles with the best chance of qualifying for the 18s and over with 2:04.02. Philip Nowacki, he'll be in the 17 years final with 2:06.79. Jamie Gray should make the 17s final as well. In 9th place there, 2:12.83. Heat 12, 2 heats to go, and this is the first of our seeded heats. Our swimmers here, Marcus Hay for Wickham District, Toby Godsall for Millfield, Angus Allison, University of Stirling, Benjamin Twynham, Derby Excel, Andrew Bertoli, University of Stirling, Ben Harrison, Loughborough University, Ben's Lau for City of Birmingham, Luke Poulton for Wickham District, Daniel Jackson for Borough of Kirklees, and Matthew Baker for West Suffolk. Andrew Bertoli in 25.83 for the backstroke leg. Big turn here in lane 4 for Ben Harrison into backstroke. Going well at the top of the picture, Toby Godsall for Millfield. All but 2 swimmers in this heat are 18s and over. The 2 who are in other age groups are at the top of the picture. Toby Godsall in the 17 years age group, and he is in second place at the turn, and Marcus Hay is in the 16 years age group in lane 9. Bertoli's our leader, followed then by Godsall, Harrison and then Lau. You'd expect Angus Allison in lane 7, 3 from the top, to come swimming into this one on the 50 metres of breaststroke. Most swimmers with a long gliding stroke here. Some of them really lifting themselves high in the water and then surging forward as they kick. And we've got 6 swimmers here out in front, all in the 18s and over category. I think as a rule of thumb, you say if you're finishing the first 3 in this heat, you're definitely in the final. 4th and 5th and 6th are wait and see. And we've got 3 clear leaders here then. Andrew Bertoli, Ben Harrison and Ben's Lau. I think these 3 are swimming their way into the 18s and over final quite comfortably. Maybe there's a place for a 4th place swimmer as well. So Angus Allison's finishing very strongly. We touched the ball in 2:05.00, 2:05.37, 2:05.76. Angus Allison, wait and see with 2:06.9. And on the far side, Toby Godsall, 2:07.32, finishing in 6th place, but he'll be in the 17s final. And Marcus Hay, he finished in 10th place there. His time, 2:12.28, and I think he will be in the 16s final with that. On to the final heat. This is heat 13. Our swimmers here: Hugh Mason-Williams, City of Birmingham; Llewellyn Porter, Camden Swiss Cottage; and Daniel Ransom, City of Leeds. Those 3 swimmers on the far side of the pool are all in the 16 years age group. And then we've got swimmers in the 18s and over: Joshua Press, University of Stirling; David Annis, the Royal Wolverhampton School; Alexander Casey, Loughborough University; Pierce Greening, University of Stirling; Lewis Maxwell, Northumberland and Durham Performance; James Froggatt, City of Birmingham; and in lane 0 nearest to us, Jamie Steadman of Clevedon in the 17 years age group. So once again, I think first 3 in this heat guaranteed a place in the final, then 4th, 5th and 6th wait and see. And for wait and see times, I think you've definitely got to be swimming under 2:07. If you don't get under 2:07, then you won't be in the 18s and over final. Turning first there, 57.42 after 50 fly and 50 press, Alexander Casey, and then David Annis. 3rd at that turn, Joshua Press, then Pierce Greening. And there you see this spearhead formation. You see the fastest swimmers in the middle of the pool, and then we gradually taper out to the sides of the pool. That's how we expect most races to be swum in the age group categories. So that really gives you a very strong indication of the spearhead formation that we expect to see in races. And anybody who breaks that spearhead formation, you know they're swimming well. Casey turning first, then Annis second, into freestyle then. Bear in mind, on the far side of the pool, those 3 swimmers are in a race in the 16 years category. So Daniel Ransom looking good for the 16 years final, and probably Llewellyn Porter too. Hugh Mason-Williams probably going to make it as well. Watch in the middle then. First 3 here should all make the 18s and over final, and then we're looking for times of 2:06 really or better to be thinking, yep, that's a place in the final. Casey will be in the final, so too Anis, so too Greening. Joshua Press should make it with 2:05.6 then. On the far side, those three swimmers in 7th, 8th and 9th places, Porter Ranson and Mason Williams, all swimming under 2:11, so they'll be in the 16s final. And our final swimmer, Jamie Steadman, 2:11.3, will qualify. Lewis Maxwell was disqualified. So one disqualification in that heat, and that was our final heat, completing the men's 200 metres individual medley. We don't have time to give you all the finalists because we move on very quickly, but if you need to check those out, if you need to find out who is swimming later on in those finals, our 5 p.m. session, please go to the Aquatics GB website. The details will all be there because we're moving on. We get through the events very quickly in these sessions to heat 1 of the women's multi-classification 400 metres freestyle. And you see here we've got swimmers across various categories, S6, S8, S11 and S12. 7 swimmers competing in this heat. I'll introduce them once we get going. And in fact, the swimmers, only 6 of them swimming because lane 1 is vacant. So they look like this. For Jersey on the far side, Rebecca Hardy-Bishop, then Isabella Haynes for Swim Bournemouth, Maisie Summers-Newton for Northampton, Scarlett Humphrey for Northampton in 4, Eliza Humphrey for Northampton, her sister in lane 3, and Abigail Wickens in lane 2 for Flitwick Dolphins. Now you see the assistants will tap the visually impaired athletes here so they know when they are close to the wall. That's why you have the rods held into the water there. So visually impaired athletes are given the signal. And you'll see, of course, this is another event where we are looking for points totals. And it's the points totals that will determine the fastest 10 swimmers who qualify for the final. We've got 2 heats to be swum here. And once again, you see those rods, and the swimmer gets a tap from the assistant, and then they know maybe it's 1 stroke, 2 strokes before the turn. It's all measured and practiced. It's very similar to how swimmers on backstroke use the flags. If you're a backstroke swimmer, you know you're 5 metres away from the wall, then it's always the same distance to the flag. So for a visually impaired swimmer, you get the tap, and it's always the same distance from the wall. And that means you can count your strokes, how many more to the wall, and do your turn. So that's how it works for these swimmers. So on the far side then, Rebecca Hardy-Bishop, then Isabella Haynes. Lane 6 is leading here, Haynes for Swim Bournemouth, and then Hardy-Bishop for Jersey. Lane 4 turning next, Scarlett Humphrey, who's part of the Paralympics GB team next month. Then in lane 5, Maisie Summers-Newton, also part of the Paralympics team. Lane 4, lane 3, Eliza Humphrey, Scarlett's sister, also in the Paralympics GB team as well. So now as you swim to the wall, for each classification, the times will be worth different points values, and it's the points totals that we are looking for. Of course, we get halfway through this 400 metres freestyle race, 8 lengths of the pool, and still lane 7 and 6, Rebecca Hardy-Bishop and Isabella Haynes are swimming together really, side by side. Hardy-Bishop in the blue cap in the S12 category, Isabella Haynes in the S9s. And then in 3rd place right now, as you can see, Scarlett Humphrey, S11. Maisie Summers-Newton is in lane 5, in 4th place as you look. And Maisie is in the S6 class. So those are the first 4 to the turn. Then coming in next in lane 3 to turn, Eliza Humphrey. tapped by the assistant before the turn. Hardy Bishop then, as we swim with 125 metres left in this heat. Hardy Bishop leading from Haynes. Then it's Scarlett Humphrey and Maisie Summers-Newton. And Maisie in fourth place is finishing very strongly now. If you remember, she was a fair distance behind in the early stages of this race, but now she's coming right through. Not far behind Scarlett Humphrey at that turn, and I'd say that gap is closing all of the time. So keep an eye on Maisie Summers-Newton. In these mixed classification races, so we saw the spearhead in the previous swims in the age group. In the mixed classification, the fastest swimmers against the clock are on the far side of the pool, and then the expected times of the swimmers get progressively slower so that we get a diagonal formation across the pool. And you'll almost see that, because now as Maisie Summers-Newton comes up to third place, you'll see it's lane 7 turning first, then it'll be 6, then probably lane 5 with Scarlett Humphrey just before Maisie Summers-Newton, but as you can see, almost lane 5 in third place ahead of lane 4. And that's how the swimmers are arranged in these mixed classification heats. Rebecca Hardy Bishop now in front here. Her PB is 5:18.56. I think we're going to be a little outside that. Isabella Haynes has a personal best of 5:19, and I think we'll be a little slower than that as well. It's going to be close actually for that 5:18 time for Hardy Bishop. 5:18.47. It is a PB by 1/10 of a second, and look, 558 points there. Then 611 points for Isabella Haynes, 732 for Scarlett Humphrey, Maisie Summers-Newton 805. That will definitely be a place in the final, I would think. 800 points is considered world class. 640 Eliza Humphrey in 5:41.65. Remember, it's the points totals that determine where the swimmers finish in the competition. And Abigail Wickens with 5:52.24, 520 points. And we'll get the swimmers now arranged by their points total. So you'll see Maisie Summers-Newton with 805 points is considered the swimmer with the best performance in that heat. We have a delay at the end of races that involve visually impaired swimmers, because the judges have to visually check the goggles that have been used. For visually impaired swimmers, the goggles must be completely blacked out, and the Paralympics team next month will be using goggles that have been specially made. Normally the swimmers have their goggles painted black, but the goggles that will be used by the Paralympics team, they are specially made and they are completely blacked out. So that's why we just have to have this delay. It's because the judges do not sign off the result of the race until they are sure that the equipment has been checked. And now that equipment check has been completed, now we get confirmation, and you see Maisie Summers-Newton, it wasn't the fastest time in the heat, but it was the best point score, 805 for the S6 category there. And as I always like to remind you, 800 points, that's world class. Scarlett Humphrey, 732, that's not far outside world class performance either. Now we're using all 10 lanes in Heat 2. And I'll introduce the athletes once we get going. So across the two heats, it will be the 10 swimmers with the highest points totals who qualify for finals. Let's introduce our swimmers then. On the far side, it's Faye Rogers for University of Aberdeen. Tony Shaw, another University of Aberdeen swimmer. Then in 7, Brock Whiston, who swims for London Disability. Lane 6, Amber Haycock for Northampton Swimming. Lane 5 is Alice Ty for Ealing. Lane 4, Astrid Carroll for City of Sheffield. Lane 3, Megan Willis for Torfin Dolphins. Lane 2, Lily Rice, Pembrokeshire County. Lane 1, Brooklyn Hale for Cockermouth. and lane 0, Evie Lambert for Borough of Kirklees. And there you go, we get this wide shot of the pool, and you get more of an appreciation of the fact that the faster swimmers are generally on the far side of the pool, and the expected times generally taper down towards lane 0 for the mixed classification events. Faye Rogers is going to swim to the wall at 100 metres out in front. This is 8 lengths of the pool, the 400 metres, let me remind you. So swimmers in this heat are in categories S8, S9, S10 and S12. And you can see there the red markers halfway along the pool. That marks the 25 metre mark, if you like, halfway along. And you've got other red markers that mark 15 metres from the end as well. The 15 metre markers at either end of the pool on the lane ropes and also on the bottom of the pool. And those 15 metre markers help the judges make sure that nobody swims more than 15 metres underwater at the turns. So that's why those markers are on the pool. There you can see them all again. 15 metre markers at either end, a 20 metre marker in the middle. And if you're wondering about the marks on the bottom of the pool that are nearer the middle of the pool, well, the pool can be shortened to 25 metres, and then those markers come into play. Faye Rogers in lane 9 will turn in first then, 2:19.49 at that turn, ahead of Tony Shaw. Faye Rogers and Tony Shaw were both at the training camp in Turkey last week, making their final preparations. And when I mentioned the fact they were at the training camp, that means they've been training very hard. It probably means they're not quite ready to swim personal best times right now. Everything is geared towards making sure the very best performance for the Paralympics team swimmers will be delivered in Paris. So we're not necessarily expecting personal bests for swimmers who are in hard training right now, but with a month to go, we're really looking ahead to get those performances in. And the reason why almost everybody in the Paralympics GB team is here competing this week is to get final preparations for race atmosphere, everything around a race, using the call room, timing your warm-up, figuring out when you want to finish your warm-up, when you want to get out of the warm-up pool. Everybody has a different routine to go through so that everybody gets to that starting position absolutely ready to deliver their best performance. So this is real rehearsal time for the Paralympics GB swim team, and we're really privileged, I think, to watch those swimmers making those final preparations. So I like to remind you who's in the Paralympics team when I get the chance. So Faye Rogers there, out in front. She'll be going to Paris. Tony Shaw, she's going to Paris. Also in this race, we have Alice Ty, who's currently swimming in third place in this race. She wasn't at the Turkey training camp, Alice, but she is also getting ready now to head off to France and compete for Paralympics GB. So with 50 metres to go, we have Faye Rogers out in front, followed by Tony Shaw and Alice Ty. And remember, everyone trying to get in the final for this event. So it's the 10 highest points totals across the two heats that will qualify. Coming into the wall then very quickly, Faye Rogers, really good final 50, 806 points. Look at that, world-class swim. And when we say world-class, we're talking sort of top 10, that kind of level in the world. Tony Shaw, even higher points total there, 845. Even higher for Alice Ty, 872. Obviously, all three will be swimming again in the final tonight. Then in lane 6, Amber Haycock, 654 points for a 5:04.17 in the S10 category. Next to the wall, Brock Whiston, 7:49 for London Disability. And that's fantastic really for Brock Whiston. And when you consider we had 3 swimmers around the 7:40 and above mark in the previous heat, then I think we're going to have probably the 7 swimmers with the highest scores there qualifying for our final. So we wait for the officials to confirm that they were happy with everything that was swum in that heat. Slight delay then before we get confirmation, but when we get confirmation, I think we're really looking at the first 7 swimmers, the highest 7 points totals, heading for the final. Here we go then. So Alice Tye, Tony Shaw, Faye Rogers, Brock Whiston, all of those in the world-class category with their points totals. And I think we'll see Brooklyn Howell, Lily Rice, Evie Lambert, and maybe Amber Haycock as well in the final tonight. Now we're on to men's multi-classification 400 metres freestyle. And we only have 1 heat to swim. So we have 9 swimmers in this heat. On the far side of the pool, it's Oliver Carter for University of Stirling, then Kieran Williams, Newquay Cormorants, Zach Sturgis for Bournemouth Collegiate School, then it's Thomas Navarro-Barber for Portsmouth Northsea, Alfie Penfold for Crawley, Lewis Jones for Aaron Tridents, Jamie Curtis for City of Bristol, Owen Say Nova Centurion, and Bruce D for Northampton. We have swimmers in this heat in categories S6, S8, S9, S10 and S13. The swimmers on the far side, Oliver Carter and Kieran Williams, are S10 classification, and so is Zach Sturgis, actually, in the light blue cap, 3rd from the top, actually in 4th place right now. Thomas Navarro-Barber will turn in 3rd, and he is swimming in S9 category. In lane 4, Alfie Penfold, S13. In lane 3, Lewis Jones, also S9, as is Jamie Curtis in lane 2. And remember, it's the points totals we are looking for. With only 9 swimmers competing in the heats, then as long as nobody is disqualified, then we should have these 9 swimmers all coming back for tonight's final. Oliver Carter turning ahead of Kieran Williams. 3rd to the turn there was Navarro-Barber, and then 4th we had Zach Sturgis. 5th, as you look there, we have Penfold. I can tell you that, 6th was Penfold at the turn. 7th then was Lewis Jones. And we're coming up now to the halfway points in this 400 metres freestyle. It's Carter, then Williams, followed by Sturgis, and then Navarro-Barber. And then it looks like lane 2 will be next to turn Jamie Curtis, and you'll see on the splits on the bottom left of our screen, confirming Curtis was next, then Alfie Penfold, and then Lewis Jones in 7th. And we keep an eye on that, because those swimmers, even though they're not at the front of this heat, might score the high points, and you'll see how that's possible when we get to the finish in 3 lengths time. 4 swimmers by the clock, well clear of everybody else, and you can see there at the bottom of your picture, 2 lanes from the bottom, that's Owen Say, and in the bottom of your screen there, Bruce D. Bruce D swimming in this S6 category. Owen Say is in the S8s, and they could still score higher points at the finish than our leaders. .100 metres left then, and we start to really wind up now and give everything we've got. So we don't have a full complement of Paralympic swimmers in here. We have swimmers, really, I would say, who have ambitions in the future to be part of Paralympic squads. So even though most of these swimmers aren't going to Paris, we could see them as part of teams in the future. And I mention that because there is more scope for swimmers to swim personal best if they've not had the hard training, because they're looking for an event in a month's time. So we might see good swims here as we get into the end of this heat. On the far side then, a PB for Oliver Carter would be 4:16.65. Just outside that, 4:21.48 though is a season's best. And look, 750 points. We're talking top 10 in the world with that, something like that. It's a good swim. Kieran Williams 6:85, Zach Sturgis 6:67 with their times. For Kieran Williams 4:29.63, just outside his personal best. Zach Sturgis also outside his PB, but Thomas Navarro-Barber 744 points. Alfie Penfold with 558 points. Jamie Curtis with 640. Lewis Jones 611. And we're left with two swimmers still to finish, Owen Say and Bruce D. Bruce D is the only swimmer in this heat who's going to the Paralympics, and we'll see him in a moment in lane 0 racing Owen Say to the finish here. It's going to be a really strong finish from Bruce D. Now keep an eye on the points total. Remember, 750 and above in these categories is world class, and Bruce D gets 677 with his swim. Owen Say 495. So when we rearrange the swimmers by their points totals, which we will do when the officials have confirmed the results, then we'll see Oliver Carter out on top with 751 points, Thomas Navarro-Barber 744, Kieran Williams 685, Bruce D 677, Zach Sturgis 667, and these swimmers will have a chance to swim again in the final session tonight. The final session starts at 5 p.m. So just one heat, so that completes our heats for men's mixed classification 400 metres freestyle. And our next event in this session of heats is men's 50 metres freestyle. 9 heats to come, no 13s and 14s competing in the 50 metres races. I'll introduce the swimmers when we get going. From the top of the picture, Finlay Richardson, Bo Gomersall, Eamon Jaridi, Zachary Drayson, Morgan Davis, Dylan Davenport, Thomas Wales, Oscar Hunter, James Kilpatrick and Thomas Marshall. A good time in this for anybody would be under 26 seconds. And look at this from Eamon Jaridi in lane 7. He'll win this heat comfortably. We all want to get under 27 seconds, 24.07. That's brilliant. Then second place there, Morgan Davis, 25.07. Third was Zachary Drayson, 25.34. Swimmers there in the first, second and third positions, all with PBs. Eamon Jaridi, 24.07. That's a 2-second personal best on 50 metres freestyle. Morgan Davis knocked 0.6 of a second. That's a big margin to knock off your PB in 53. Here's heat 2. Our swimmers here are Jake Chesworth, Theo Harris-Branwell, Luke Barnard, Ben Uff, James Page, Joseph Ashley, Benjamin Roberts, Hugo Young, Samuel Hall and Michael Banks. Lane 6 going well here, Ben Uff. Also in lane 2, 3 from the bottom, Hugo Young. And I think they're going to be the first two to the wall. Jake Chesworth's going to be there at the touch as well. Uff, Young, Chesworth, that's the order they finish in. 24.55 for Ben Uff. Now I reckon 15-year-old swimmers in that heat could qualify for their final. On we go to heat 3. Our swimmers in heat 3, Mario Vasconcelos Blanche, Farley Greaves, Alexander Andrews, Joe Jennings, Ralph Sariki, Alexander Moore, Andrew Hunter, Colton Dorfeld, Lachlan Small and Edward Bell. Our leader here is Alexander Moore in lane 4. Also going well, Edward Bell in lane 0 and 2 from the top, Farley Greaves. They'll be our first 3 to the wall. It's Moore, Bell, then Greaves. 24.4 for Moore. Bell with 24.66. And we had 3 swimmers under 25 seconds in that heat. Alexander Moore, Edward Bell, Farley Greaves. Remember, we are swimming for places in age group finals. As I'm sure you can appreciate, it's heat after heat after heat. We can't really keep up to date with all of the age groups in between here, but we give you the times. Now, 2 swimmers into the water there, Ethan Soppett-Moss and Monty Smith. And what will be judged now is whether they had started their race. Ethan Soppett-Moss was the first into the water. Now it's being explained, and this is the really brilliant thing about the way the judges work. It's being explained very clearly now to Ethan Soppett-Moss that what happened there. What has to be judged is whether he had initiated the start of the race. And if he initiated the start of his race, he's disqualified. And there we go. Ethan Soppett-Moss is disqualified, judged to have initiated his starts. That's why he's disqualified. Monty Smith fell into the water, essentially. So it's not considered a full start for him, not a faulty start for him. And he is allowed to swim. So I hope that helps you understand what the judges have to do. They're incredibly professional, and I tell you what, the communication with the swimmers is absolutely brilliant. That will have been explained very clearly there. Okay, here we go then in this heat. Lane 4 going brilliantly here is Sam Smith in the middle. Lane 3 as well, Oliver Gillett going brilliantly too. They're going to be our first 2 to the wall. Look at the clock then. 23.79, that's our first swim under 24 seconds. Oliver Gillett, 24.04. And Philip Corey, I should say, 24.33. Everybody in that heat swimming in under 25 seconds. And as you're probably aware, you probably do watch swimming regularly if you're watching our live stream here. The heats get progressively faster. Confirmation there of Ethan Soppett-Moss being disqualified for that faulty start. On we go to heat 5. Our swimmers here, Benjamin Dale Wood, Joshua Parker, Amel Delanin, Lachlan Parrott, Rio Dowdu, Zach Slater, Samuel Sutcliffe, Ruben Cowley, Jack Brown and Cameron Hastings. 3 lanes from the bottom going well. Here is Ruben Cowley, and in lane 6 as well, Lachlan Parrott. But there's not much to choose between about 7 swimmers as we go to the wall. It's Lachlan Parrott, then Ruben Cowley with Samuel Sutcliffe in 3rd. Samuel Sutcliffe, by the way, is a 15-year swimmer, 24.03. And without being able to check everything as we go along, I would think that is a place in the 15 years final for Samuel Sutcliffe there in 3rd place. 2 swimmers under 24 seconds in that one. On to heat 6. Our swimmers here are Ruben Alty, Tristan James, Daniel Jackson, Angelo Giannicontini, Harry Sharp, Magnus Morris, Joseph Adams, Zachariah Dale, Noah Wheeler and Finley Sang. Zachariah Dale, lane 2, 3 from the bottom going well, but even better in lane 6, Angelo Gianni Contini, and in 5, Harry Sharp. As we come into the wall, Noah Wheeler's coming into contention as well. Gianni Contini first, Sharp second, Wheeler is third. And I guess now we're praising everybody who gets under 24 seconds. So well done to the first 3 there. Gianni Contini, Sharp and Wheeler. Magnus Morris didn't miss out by much, 24.03. On we go to heat 7. Our swimmers: Lucas Brown, Matt Rooney, Freddie Ashley Sparks, Maddox Roberts, Nathan Chan, Thomas Watkin, Nicholas Finch, Kieran Grant, Cameron Jamieson and Alexander Davis. Lane 5 actually is empty. Lane 4 is Thomas Watkin. He looks good here, and probably in lane 6 as well. Maddox Roberts. They'll be our first 2 to the wall. Who's going to get the touch? It's Watkin, then Roberts. 23.00. That was the first of our seeded heats, which is why there's such a huge leap forward in the times. Watkin will get into the 18s and over final with that. So too Maddox Roberts, I would expect. Cameron Jamieson in 7th there should get into the 17 years final. On to heat 8. And once again we'll be swimming low 23 seconds, I think, to win this one. Maybe even quicker, possibly. The swimmers: Evan Davis, Harry Robinson, Gabriel Shepherd, Oliver Watts, Aidan Simons-Brown, Dan Jones, Matthew Hamilton, Joseph Way, Henry Gray and Thomas Taylor. Dan Jones is out in front here, no doubt about that. And then in 3 and 5, Matthew Hamilton and Simons-Brown are going to be touching just behind him. Jones, he reached for the wall, glided in, 22.83 with a glide. That's a pretty good swim. First swimmer under 23 seconds. Our first and second swimmers there, Jones and Simons-Brown, into the 18s and over final for sure. Matthew Hamilton in 3rd, he'll be in the 17th final, and in 5th there, Gabriel Shepherd, he'll be in the 16th final. Joseph Way should also get in the 17th final there for Mount Kelly in 6th place. This is our final heat, heat 9. And our swimmers are Jack Jenkinson, Jason Mamatoglu, Reed Jones, Luke Tunstall, Abdul-Jabbar Adama, Jordan Cooley, Jacob Mills, Brian Leong, Aaron Alkers and Ethan Richards-Knight. And going well in lane 2, Brian Leong, but emerging now in the middle of the pool, Jordan Cooley and Abdul-Jabbar Adama. Who's going to get the touch? Well, it's going to be Cooley, 22.62, Adama 22.89, and Luke Tunstall there in lane 6 actually got 3rd. 23.07, Jacob Mills 4th, 23.09, and Abdul-Jabbar Adama will be the fastest qualified for the 16 years final there. Jordan Cooley will be in the 18s and over final. Good swimming there, everyone. That's the men's 50 metre freestyle heats completed, and we continue starting from the right hand side of the pool because we are into women's 50 metres backstroke heats next, and 3 swimmers competing in heat 1. And we're ready to go now for Heat 1 of women's 50 metres backstroke. So the swimmers here are on the far side, Maisie Chambers for Sevenoaks, Isla Ince for Guildford City, and Lauren Lister for Wickham District. Ince and Lister, the two swimmers closest to us, are in the 15-year age group, and Maisie Chambers on the far side in the 17 years age group. So competing for places in different finals. A really good time here for anyone would be under 32.6. That's what we're trying to get from everyone here, I would say, as we get into the wall. First in there is Chambers, then Ince, then Lister, and they all got under 32.6. Well done. First Chambers 31.92. Second there 32.10. And our third place, that's a good time for Lauren Lister as well, 32.44. On to heat number 2. Well, we haven't got that last result confirmed. So until you see it on the screen, you're not 100% sure that everything has been confirmed by the judges. So that's why there is a delay sometimes. It's just because the judges maybe want to discuss something. As soon as the judges confirm that they're happy that the race result stands, then we get the confirmation. And here comes the confirmation. No changes to the result. Maisie Chambers first, Isla Ince second, Lauren Lister third. Good times all three swimmers. On to heat 2 now. And our swimmers here are Darcy Platts, Catherine Williams, Lily Rose Carr, Ruby Stevenson, Emily Chischek, Emilia Chischek, Sydney Dearlove, Clementine Lovell, Sophia Stoyanova and Eve Harkin. Lane 2 actually vacant, excuse me for that, and going well here, Sydney Dearlove in lane 3, and on the far side, Darcy Platts. Platts and Dearlove look like the first two, finishing strongly also Ruby Stevenson as they go for the wall. That's the 1, 2, 3, Platts, Dearlove and Stevenson. And what did we have there? 5 swimmers under 32 seconds. Well done to everybody who got under 32 there, that's great. 31.59 the winning time there for Darcy Platts. She'd never swum under 32 seconds until that swim. Neither had Sydney Dearlove. Well done there. On to heat 3. Our swimmers here are Elizabeth Land, Dixie Dot Turnamore, Megan Titchener, Asha Mahanta, Honor Fox, Nicole Maynard, Lily O'Neill, Kate Roberts, Nell Carter and Abigail McInerney. Lane 5 here, Honor Fox looking good, but even better for Torfin Dolphins, Megan Titchener, 3 from the top. Titchener in the lead. Now coming through Nicole Maynard in 4 for Basildon and Phoenix, but it's going to be Titchener first, ahead of Maynard, and then Mahanta, Asha Mahanta in lane 6 got the 3rd place. Winning time of 31.27 there for Megan Titchener. Personal best. Nicole Maynard 31.37, that's a PB. Asha Mahanta 31.68. That's a season's best for Asha. Heat 4 now. Our swimmers, Annabelle Crease, Abby Turnbull, Eve Whitney, Lucia Lopez, Eva Sherry. Lane 4's empty. Margarita Stoimanova, Rosie Forster, Isabel Price and Charlotte Hayden. Far side off to a great start, Annabelle Crease, and then 3 lanes from the top, Eve Whitney. They're our leading 2 here, and in third place right now is Eva Sherry in lane 5. There's a strong finish from Isabel Price as well at the bottom of our picture, and it looks like lane 7, Eve Whitney's going to finish stronger than all of them. Crease gets the touch, but only by 100th of a second from Whitney. Isabel Price third, 31.07. And as we say, we get faster with each passing heat. 30.8 for Annabelle Crease. Second place there, Eve Whitney, 30.81. That's the first time she's swum faster than 31 seconds. On to heat 5. Our swimmers are Grace Robinson, Charlotte Gower, Rhea Harrand, Jessica Gable, Grace McDonald, Jessica Kirkwood, Amelia Oliver, Cara Redford, Martina Karabach and Evelyn Hallisey. Lane 3, Amelia Oliver making a strong start, and Rhea Harrand for York City, 3 lanes from the top as well. Coming through now in lane 5 is Grace McDonald. But Rhea Harrand looks like she's got this one wrapped up, with McDonald to come in second. Harrand reaches for the wall just ahead of McDonald. Amelia Oliver in third. 30.37 our winning time there for Rhea Harrand. A half-second personal best there. Grace McDonald, 30.5. That's a PB as well. 30.92 for Amelia Oliver, the first time she's broken 31 seconds for the women's 50 metres backstroke. On to heat 6. Good times now would be for swimmers to go under 30.5 seconds, I would say. Our swimmers here are Aoife Dwight-Clark, Veronica Venuti, Hannah Murphy, Sierra Broadbelt, Amelie Smith, Millie Wells, Eve Wood, Isabel Liptrot, Eloise Howarth and Evangeline Pierce. Veronica Venuti, 2 lanes from the top, is out in front here, but swimmers are getting closer and closer to her. 3 lanes from the bottom here, Isabel Liptrot's finishing quickly as well, and in lane 5, Amelie Smith. Her first to the wall, Veronica Venuti. Liptrot got second. Hannah Murphy third. 30.46, so we get under 30.5 there. Veronica Venuti, she swims in the 16-year category. Amelie Smith in 5th place there, and Aoife Dwight-Clark in 9th. They both qualify for the 15s final with their swims. So more good swimming being delivered at the Speedo Aquatics GB Summer Championships, and we move on now to Heat 7. The swimmers here, Isabel Mather, Eloise Cole, Georgia Holgate, Kiana Kurtzer, Jessica Hum, Tallulah Paisley, Erin Gent, Amber Rigg, Heidi Wren and Emma Price. And in lane 4, off to a great start, Tallulah Paisley, and also 3 lanes from the top of the picture, Georgia Holgate. Those 2 out in front, and then probably in third right now is Heidi Wren, 2 lanes for the bottom for City of Glasgow. And also coming through very strongly now, Amber Rigg as they reach for the wall. Rigg got there, 30.4. Jessica Hum, second, 35.5. Third place there was Tallulah Paisley. And a joint 4th place there, you'll see 30.65, the same time recorded by Heidi Wren and Georgia Holgate there. We move on now to heat number 8. And the swimmers: Nubia Adjai, Jessica Lawton, Lucy Block, Vanessa Chimamanova, Jessica Meller, Amara Addison, Charlotte Hall, Gabrielle Freeman, Hallie Harris and Gina Warrior. Amara Addison in 4 going well. Lane 6 as well, Vanessa Chimamanova. And it's Chimamanova who's actually out in front now. And now Jessica Lawton too from the top, also coming through in the blue cap. We're looking at lane 6 to win this one, Chimamanova, and maybe lane 5 to get second, Jessica Meller. Yes, it's Chimamanova, followed by Meller and Hallie Harris in third. 30.3 for second place, but look at the winning time, and Vanessa Chimamanova with 29.89 goes through to the 16-year age group final, I'm sure of that. Hallie Harris, Amara Addison, they're both in the 17-year competition. Those times should get them into their final. Our first swimmer under 30 seconds then in these heats. 3 heats to go. This is the first of the seeded heats. Heat 9. Our swimmers in this heat: Annabelle Compton, Marie Wood, Emma Wood, Anna Tyers, Charlie Jones, Florence Tinsley, Lily Grover, Catherine Renfrew, Katie Rose and Hannah O'Mahony. Florence Tinsley leading with second place at the moment. Marie Wood 2 lanes from the top of the picture. But Tinsley in first, and it looks like in third it will either be Charlie Jones or Catherine Renfrew. Tinsley first, Wood second, Lily Grover got third ahead of Charlie Jones. And we got 3 swimmers under 30 seconds there. Mari Wood and Florence Tinsley probably into the 18s and over final with those times. Lily Grover into the 17s final with 29.89. On to heat 10, 2 to go. Our swimmers here are Isabel Steer, Jess Monk, Fionn Humphries, Mia Collier, Libby Freeman, Sophie Knocker, Susie McNair, Caitlin Ebbridge, Melissa Mannering and Libby Mundy. And it's Sophie Knocker out in the lead in lane 4. And 2 lanes closer to us, Caitlin Ebbridge in lane 2 in second place right now. Mia Collier going well in lane 6, looking for a possible third place. And also coming through well, Melissa Mannering. First to the wall then, Sophie Knocker. Caitlin Ebbridge second, and Mannering got third there. Sophie Knocker will be into the 17s final with that swim of 28.95. Caitlin Ebbridge will get into the 18s and over with 29.55. I think Melissa Mannering will get in the 18s and over final as well, and probably Mia Collier in the 18s and over final as well with 29.89. And we have one final heat now. It's heat 11. Our swimmers in the final heat are Maya Curlew, Sophie Shaw, Hannah Willis, Ella Justice, Molly Garrett, Blythe Kinsman, Fenella Woodis, Tegan Matthews, Laura Ann Marshman and B. Jones. Blythe Kinsman in lane 4, leading here, followed by Fenella Woodis in lane 3, and it's very close after Woodis. probably Tegan Matthews, I would say. 3 names from the bottom. Blythe Kinsman wins in 28.38, followed by Woodis, and then third was Molly Garrett in lane 5 in 30.08. Blythe Kinsman will get into the 17s final with 28.38. Fenella Woodis will get into the 16s final with her time there of 29.6. And Molly Garrett, borderline for 18s and over with that time, 30.08, but Ella Justice should get into her age group final. I would have thought that's the 17s there with her time in 4th. That completes our heats for women's 50 metres backstroke. We have 3 races left to swim, literally 3 races in this session of heats. We've got a swim off coming up at the end of the session. That's an unscheduled extra race, so stick around for that as well. The unscheduled race that will finish our session is a swim off for a reserve place in the 17 years women's 100 metres freestyle. Next is women's multi-classification, 50 metres butterfly. 1 heat to be swum here with 3 swimmers. Now this could be a very close race, and it's a real chance for these 3 swimmers to compete very hard with one another. Closest to us, Maisie Summers-Newton, swimming in the S6 category. Then it's Grace Harvey, also in S6. And on the far side, Yona Winifred in the S7 classification. All 3 of these swimmers will be swimming for Paralympics GB in Paris next month. It's Maisie Summers-Newton in the lead here, followed by Harvey and then Winifred. And remember, it's all about the points for the different classifications to decide who actually wins the heats. Maisie Summers-Newton, 696 points for 38.98. Grace Harvey, 653 points for 39.82. And Yona Winifred with 552 points for a time of 40.2 seconds. As long as everybody swam the race clean, and they did, we've got it confirmed, they will all swim again in the final tonight. That's great preparation for those 3 swimmers going into the Paralympics next month. Every swim in a competitive environment is a great chance to rehearse and get everything fine-tuned. Bruce D will swim now on his own in the men's mixed classification 50 metres butterfly. He'll be in lane 4. If you were with us for swims yesterday, you'd have seen we had this happen as well. A swimmer on their own. So here goes Bruce D. Bruce D on his own. He's got a personal best here of 34.02. And everybody in the arena will get behind him here. And Bruce D now coming into the last 15 metres. So a personal best of 34.02. And that's what we're looking for. Bruce here, he's really got the rhythm going. And 34.02, is he going to beat that? Just outside, 34.57. Well, that's 687 points. And a clean swim means that Bruce will come back to swim that race again in the final tonight. And we have to say, you know, it's great preparation for the Paralympics for swimmers who are going to be there. Being in the arena, swimming with everything set up for a race, having to warm up, do everything in the right order and at the right time, and just fine-tune their processes, everything to get ready for delivering their best when it comes to Paris next month. Okay, we've actually got 2 swim-offs to come, so 2 more races. And the first will be in the women's 100 metres freestyle, 17 years. And this is for first reserve place. First reserve, so a swim off for 11th and 12th in effect in the women's 100 metres freestyle. You saw Izzy Blackhurst and Emily Maxwell will be the two swimmers to race here. Most likely these swimmers won't actually get to swim in the final, but in some ways you can treat this as a final, I guess. There'll be first reserve. If there's a withdrawal from one of the 10 fastest swimmers in the 17 years women's 100 freestyle, well then they will get to swim in the final. But if not, this is the opportunity to post your best time, I guess. So lane 5 there in the red suits is Emily Maxwell, and in 4 in blue, Izzy Blackhurst. Izzy for Taunton Dean, Emily for Northumberland and Durham Performance. So these two swimmers tied for 11th place in the heats. They both swam 59.35 seconds. And look, it's just two swimmers in the pool and both wanting to swim their very best. We get these swim-offs regularly at these meets. The swimmers swimming very similar times, and you get so many swimmers who are only hundredths of a second apart, so it's no surprise really when they swim exactly the same time and they tie for similar places. So let's try and get these two swimmers to get faster than 59.35, and that would mean they both improved on their performance this morning. Blackhurst nearest to us, then Maxwell, and Maxwell looks like she's got into the lead now with 15 metres to go. It looks like Emily Maxwell, and this is for 11th or 12th place in the competition. Is it under 59.35? Yes, 58.66. They both got under 59.35. Both then swimming faster than they did in the heats. And I think that's got to be goal number 1. Emily Maxwell, 58.66. She will be listed as 11th place. And should there be a withdrawal from the final, then Emily Maxwell as first reserve would take it. And if there were 2 withdrawals, then both swimmers would be in our final in the session tonight. Remember, the final session begins at 5 p.m. That's our session tonight. So we do have more sessions to come here when we'll have heat declared winners in our next session, and then we'll have some relays as well. So we have swimming all through the day here from the Speedo Aquatics GB Summer Championships. And now we have the men's 50 metre freestyle swim off. This is Evan McQuaid for Dunmo Atlantis and Farley Greaves for Swindon Dolphin. And we'll start at the right hand end of the pool for this 50 metres freestyle. Just one length to swim between these two swimmers. So here we have Evan McQuaid and Farley Greaves. They both swam 24.82 in their heats. And these two were joint 12th. So the winner of this swim-off will be the second reserve for the final. Evan McQuaid nearest to us in the red cap and Farley Greaves in the dark cap. And it's going to go right down to the touch, of course. McQuaid in the red cap looks like he's going to get there first as they both reach for the wall, and there's not much in it. Evan McQuaid 24.61, Farley Greaves 24.78. And once again, the first thing you've got to say is congratulations both swimmers on swimming faster than they did in the heats. And that result means that Evan McQuaid will be recorded as the 12th placed swimmer and therefore the second reserve for the men's 50 metres freestyle swim off. And I think we do have one more swim off to come. Women's 50 metres backstroke we're hearing. So we are just waiting for confirmation now of another swim off. So this session isn't quite over yet. We are waiting for confirmation now of another swim off. Confirmation means you've got to get the swimmers to both agree to swim off really and get them both together and ready to race. And if it hasn't been very long since they competed, well, we try to give the swimmers enough of a rest to be able to deliver their best performance. It's only fair that the swimmers get to deliver their best performance in a swim off, if that is what's required. So swimmers might be in the swim down pool and then their coaches have to go and find them and say, come back, we need you for another race. So that's why we're just holding on here. The session isn't quite over yet, but let's have a look forwards to what else is coming up today. Our next session will be women's 800 metres freestyle. That comes up at 1 p.m. We'll have a break while the women's 800 metre freestyle swimmers warm up. Then we come back at 1 p.m. That's a heat declared winner session. And there you go. Families here supporting the swimmers who will be competing, I'm sure, in that session. Heat declared winners. So we'll be swimming for medals in our next session at 1 p.m. As we look around at all of the families who are here getting behind the swimmers, as we like to say, you know, this is the celebration of everybody's work over the year. It's not just the swimmers in the pool. They can't do it without the coaches. Nobody can can have these swimming clubs and these meets without officials and judges and all the sorts of people who give their time to make the organisation of these events work and run like clockwork. That is a big effort required. And then, of course, these people, friends and family, who support the athletes throughout the year. It can't happen without everybody contributing. And what we see in the pool is the results of all of that work from everybody. And that's how our sport of swimming works. I was going through the schedule. Let's remind you then, so women's 800 metres freestyle, that's our next session at 1 p.m. Heat declared winners, so we'll have our first medals of the day won in our next session. And then come back after that for the finals at 5 p.m. We'll have age group finals for women's 100 metres freestyle, mixed classification 200 metre freestyle for women's and men's, women's 400 metres individual medley final, men's 200 metres individual medley finals, women's and men's mixed classification 400 freestyle finals. We've got lifeguards here as well. Everybody makes these competitions happen. Without those people, then there are no events like this. And this is an event at a very, very high level, as I'm sure you are aware, and a big part of the development for all of the athletes who are competing. And ultimately the goal is to get swimmers ready to represent Great Britain at the end of everything and at the absolute pinnacle of the sport, which we'll see next week, swim for Great Britain at the Olympic Games. So when you watch the Olympic Games next week, you can remember that every single swimmer representing Great Britain there has come through this event in the past. I guarantee we are watching people who are going to swim for Great Britain at events in the future. Here's our chance then to acknowledge the work that's done by everybody who judges and that performs the timekeeping duties and everything throughout the week. It's fantastic, and it's all done so professionally. These people who you see in the white shirt and black trouser uniforms make sure that the races are absolutely fair for everybody. And the communication with the swimmers is really good as well, as I think you saw earlier. Everybody coming together, working together to make these events possible. So thank you to everybody who contributes. And when I say everybody who contributes, let's face it, it's every single person you can see moving around the Ponsforge International Sports Centre right now. Everybody has a role to play. We've just had it confirmed that we will have one last race then, and it will be a double swim off. in women's 50 metres backstroke, a double swim off. We will have 16-year-old swimmers and 17-year-old swimmers simultaneously in 2 races. Women's 50 metres backstroke, and the swimmers in the 16 years category I'm just being told what the swim off will be for. So, So we're being told then that the swim-off will be in lanes 2 and 3. These are the 16-year-old swimmers. That's Gabrielle Freeman and Erin Gents. They're swimming for second reserve place in the 16 years 50 metres backstroke final. And on the far side, lanes 6 and 7, Catherine Renfrew and Annabelle Crease are going to swim off for a place in the 17 years final. So for the final place in the 17 years final, that's the race on the far side of the pool. Catherine Renfrew and Annabelle Crease, and on the near side for second reserve in the 16s, Gabrielle Freeman and Erin Gents. So 2 separate races, if you like, and lane 3 there, Erin Gent didn't get a good start. She slipped, I think, on the wall. So Gabrielle Freeman's got a huge advantage here to get second reserve place in the 16th final. Let's concentrate on the race then on the far side of the pool. And it's Annabelle Crease in the dark cap ahead at the moment, with Catherine Renfrew fighting back. This for a place in the final then in the 17 years women's 50 metres backstroke. Who's going to get the touch? It's Annabelle Crease in 30.35 ahead of Catherine Renfrew. The slip on the wall certainly cost Erin Gent there. So Gabrielle Freeman will get the 12th place and second reserve in the final for the 16 years women's 50 metre backstroke. Annabelle Crease gets the last place in the final for the 17 years women's 50 metres backstroke. And we'll be back around 1 p.m. for our next session. Join us then, the next session, the heat declared winners session for women's 800 metres freestyle. That's coming up in half an hour or so. We'll see you then.